Hello and welcome to Screen Source episode 38. My name is Dylan.
Fernando.
Stanley.
Melissa.
Jessica.
That's kind of weird to go like that. Then cross and then over.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I messed it all up.
That's right. You were telling us you were having some fun before we went live.
I actually forgot my name. And you didn't mess it up at all.
I was having a fake orgasm.
Nice.
Okay, there we go.
From above.
Distracted.
This is going to be a very good episode of Screen Source, I think.
We've got the
more
best
like
news.
Scream
Holy
Source.
shit.
Scream Source, Scream in my pants Source. Anyways, Scream
Source.
Cream Source. That's good.
Whoa. Yeah.
All that
Wasn't
improv
gross.
training coming in handy now. Anyways, Screen Source is a film and
Handy.
television news reviews and trailers show. So we're going to start off with the Predator trailer, and then we'll leading into some news. My news topic of the day is the DC Universe. What do you got going on today?
I will be talking about the new HBO Watchmen series.
Yes. What do you got?
This little indie game called Halo.
Oh, I
We got
heard
some
of it.
Good news about that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Mel.
We'll have to talk about that.
Summer box office.
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 Yeah.
Jessica, what are you talking about?
Mayans MC TV show and something really cool that I'm not going to tell you until I talk about it.
Sweet. And then we'll watch some more trailers by the end of the show. We have some movie reviews. We'll be talking about Incredibles 2, but let's get started with The Predator. Full trailer. As far as I know, this is the first full trailer. Is that right?
Ooh. I've not heard about it.
So
I think the last one was a
it
teaser.
was like yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
It was a
It's like
teaser.
the
You're right.
full on
Yeah, so I think we'll probably see some more predation, if you
Oh.
will.
noise.
Okay.
Snap.
Oh, snap. All right, let's get this started.
I think this is going to make or break my opinion of whether I'm actually going to see this.
Do you know what my job description is?
I forgot that he's in it.
I'm in acquisitions. I look up and I catch what falls out of the sky.
What's on the ship?
Of course.
Hello.
Oh!
Yum.
Yep.
I like it.
Did you see anything unusual?
It's above our pay grade. Do I get a cookie now?
Look, I get it. Something went down in Mexico. Nobody wants to know.
Is it Hal Holbrook? Is that his name? I can't
We
remember.
need to know if you and your
I like
man
him.
pose a threat. We're
Rangers.
Did he play a vampire once?
Hey, Baxley. I don't
Was it? Was that Steven Dorff?
Rated E
Oh.
for everyone.
Hey.
That's that guy.
Nice.
posing a threat.
Peel, right? Or-
Yeah.
No, it's Keegan Michael Key.
Michael Key.
God.
Key. That's Key. Right?
Jeez, that
Wow.
got
R-rated.
real very quick.
There we go.
What?
Ah,
You're getting my attention, Predator.
wow.
Oh, Shane Black.
Yeah, I'm
All
Played
right.
around making hats out of rib cages. They conquered space. But that's not what's on the horizon.
Should I be worried? Riley.
I think you know what is on the ship.
Oh shit.
The ultimate
What is that?
predators.
Predator.
There we go.
Oh, it's his dad.
Papa Predator.
Wait, why was that guy wearing a piece of alien tech on his arm?
I just want to make out with that.
So come and get us, motherfucker.
Wow. Red Band.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
They're taking that Jurassic World
That
thing
looks
with
like a
bigger,
good
better
time.
You just
So do
Bigger
they?
predators.
So is that the Predator?
Predator.
His dad.
Pop Predator. Pop Predator. I don't
Papa
know.
Predator.
Yeah.
Predator. You already did it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to
the
one that.
Explorers, the old
Oh yeah, with River Phoenix.
River
Yeah.
Phoenix, freaking Steven Dorff, and
Yeah.
I can't remember the other kid's name. But yeah, they when and the spoiler because it's like 30 years old. But
No.
in the end, the alien they contact is actually like a kid alien.
Ah.
He's got parents, and they're like, "Where are you?" Yeah, you
That
know.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, that just made me think of that.
Good stuff.
So this is a film by Shane Black, who did Lethal Weapon, Monster Squad, Last Action Hero, a couple other things.
Monster Squad.
Best known for his role as Rich Hawkins in Predator, the original.
Right, the original.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about this?
That got my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a good way.
Okay.
Totally.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes. We saw a lot of the Predator.
Yeah, there was not a lot of mystery.
No.
Well, I think everyone knows the Predator at this point.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Pretty sure they all know what he looks like.
Hey, producer Connor. Yeah. There should have been it should have been done to the somebody go and get their ass kicked music, right? Yeah. Anyway, please go on.
Is this a wrestling thing?
Ignore me. I was just on that. I'm still here.
We have a wrestling podcast here on Color Circuit if you want to check that out every Sunday from 4 to 6 on twitch.tv/Color Circuit Live. How did you feel about it, Mel?
Good. Yeah, I was surprised to see
Keegan-Michael Key.
There we go.
Yeah. Jordan Peele
Key.
did Get Out and all the others.
Right.
Yeah.
I was too. I didn't.
It's a different element to add.
No,
to
yeah, because
that.
he's been strictly a comedy guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That makes me feel
Well, I
like the
think
movie might be smarter.
He looked like it kind of looked like he was probably like maybe a comedic more role. He's kind of
Yeah.
Right.
talking
He-
trash
yeah.
talk.
Yeah, the rated E for everyone thing. It was
Yeah.
just like, but you know what? It's cool to see him in like something so serious, action, horror-y.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see him in more things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I like him as an actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I think it's like, and I don't know necessarily, but I think it kind of they're trying to go back to like the original Predator, like the whole kind of cast of characters. You know, they're all characters. You know,
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I keep thinking like that happens a lot where it kind of starts off. I'm thinking of Jurassic Park and I'm thinking of like Alien and all those things where it kind of like it always feels more foreign and then it always ends up in the city.
right?
You know, and like in the
Right.
sequels. And this is
that
the
makes it more
fourth.
scary, right? Because it's
I
like
don't know.
it's like directly where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
guess so.
urban theme, like in
Yeah.
Predator 2, you know, they did that where they
Right, yeah.
where they went to the especially showing that in detail thing of it, like making the skull and vertebrae trophy out of
Right.
like the guy that it killed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scary shit.
I'll watch
Yeah.
anything that Sterling K. Brown is in. I love that man.
No,
Yeah,
nice.
he's
yeah.
so
I
good.
love that
Well,
man
yeah.
with all my heart. I'll watch it.
He's also very good in Hotel Artemis.
Cool.
Oh yeah. You're the only one that saw that.
Right?
I think I'm the only person in fucking America that saw it.
I'm gonna watch it. Like I said, anything that he is in, it doesn't matter how shitty anything is that he's in. I will watch it.
He has
No,
the
he's
best
super good.
crying eyes of all actors.
He's just
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
And everything he does. But yeah.
You're a big
Talk about
fan
him all
of
day. Talk about him all day.
not Parenthood.
This Is Us.
This is Us.
I'm a
Thank you,
big fan
yes.
of Parenthood too.
Yeah,
but
right on.
Yeah.
Oh, this is yeah.
They're
Crying
both
eyes.
Very good.
Right.
Crying eyes. Anyways, yeah, go check out Predator. Did he have a release date on there? I didn't see it.
September.
September
24th.
24th.
Okay.
Okay,
That's all I
cool.
can remember.
It may have also been 14th.
September something.
Somebody's wrong.
Mid to late September.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm sure there are ways to find out.
Do
There
you
are.
remember?
Good luck
Does
to you
anybody
all.
remember the third one? Because this is the fourth one, right?
Yeah, because
Fourth.
wasn't the third one like
This is like the third Predator movie.
well, because the other one was Predators, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
I
they
forgot
had
about
Alien
Predator,
versus
right.
Predator
So
and
there
then
was Alien versus
Predators.
Predators, and there was a Predators.
Yeah, with
that
all the people
Adrian
dropped on
Brody-
the alien planet.
Right,
Yeah,
Adrian
Samurai
Brody was
guy.
in that, and then, yeah.
Huh.
So I guess this would be like
It-
the fourth
one,
Predator movie.
Yeah. And then they had AVP.
And then there was two of those, I think.
Yeah.
And-
Jeez.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it was the last decade, and there's so much shit that just kind of flew under my entire radar
Sure.
that entire time. It was so strange.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So on to other news. What's the first topic we got going on
Oh,
today?
yeah. The it turns out that Damon Lindelof is going to be helming a new series for HBO based on Watchmen. And yeah, so it was cool. I mean, look at the cast that they've got
shit.
there. Yeah. It is pretty crazy. The entire cast that we've got there is going to be Regina King from The Leftovers, and also who I specifically remember doing tons of voiceover for The Boondocks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
and Martin actually. If you want to drop back into the
Wow.
90s on that
Oh,
one,
yeah, Martin.
you
That's
got
such
Don Johnson. You've got
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons. That's quite a get. You got Tim Blake Nelson, Louis Gossett Jr. in the first thing I've seen him in like 20 years.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. We got Adelaide Clemens, Andrew Howard, Tom Mizon, Francis Fisher, Jacob Ming Trent, and Yahya Abdul Mateen II. So yeah, we've got a pretty powerful lineup right now. What they had to say is just, he had worked on the previous one, the 2009 movie that they did. They kind of felt that the original Zack Snyder movie was as close to as faithful a, panel by panel recreation of the movie as could have been done. But it's otherwise they are the way that Lindelof described it is it's not going to be quite so strictly adherent to the original so much as a remix of what they were doing. Okay. And obviously because, well, let's be fair, there weren't that many black characters in the original Watchmen. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's going to be a lot, looks like it's going to be a lot more interesting and diverse cast, which definitely gets my attention. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they are kind of serializing it just really seems like it's going to be cool. They've got a powerhouse lineup helmed by a very good director. And if it's going in the same direction as a lot of Lindelof's other works, this is definitely going to be a series to watch.
All right.
Nice.
So I'd say in general, you sound like you're pretty excited about getting this going.
Well, I read Watchmen, in its original iteration. I went to the library. Remember, go to your local library, kids, and picked up a Absolute Watchmen, where it actually delved into the characters as they had like the Secret Society of Superheroes, where Rorschach was based on The Question, and like Night Owl based on Batman, and all of that other stuff. Or no, Blue Beetle. I'm sorry. Yeah, and just all of that stuff, and it went into like all the character spec and designs, like because Rorschach used to have a full body outfit that did all that stuff.
It wasn't just the mask.
Yeah, it was just a hat and a trench coat over a full body like Rorschach bodysuit, and it was pretty crazy. And and it showed all of the accolades and stuff that it went into, because it was like Time magazine, I believe, that had voted as one of the best 100 best novels ever written. Because it was powerful. There's all sorts of different storytelling devices that are used. I mean, that are used in effect to this day. And as far as sequential art, Watchmen was nothing short of a masterpiece. And I love watching everything that they do about every possible media iteration of this piece of work. Super rad.
So you like the original movie, is what you're saying as well?
It's okay.
Okay. Every possible iteration except for that one.
Yeah, because it was like
it's one of those ones that you can't. I mean, you really couldn't do it justice in 2 hours. So I mean, it really. Even I remember back in the day. Even I think they had Terry Gilliam.
Yeah,
like give a pass to it. He was like, this needs to be like a 10-part mini series.
Because he was like, there was no. It was one of those. Yeah, he passed on it. And Terry Gilliam is a hell of a filmmaker, and he was like, there's no possible way one movie can do this justice.
Gotcha. I didn't know Zack Snyder did the original one, to be honest.
Yeah, it was one of the things that it put him a bit more on the map.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if that's what led him into what he's doing now.
I'm almost certain that was the gateway.
Why he got Superman and Batman and all.
Sure, yeah. Did you guys watch the original Watchmen?
I think I did, but I don't remember.
I feel like
which is not a good sign.
No, fair. That's fair.
One of the most memorable scenes for me, at least from that, was when the Blue Man,
Big Blue
swinging dong, and he keeps like reapparating, and he reapparates as he reapparates as veins.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Well, because they had that in the graphic novel as well. When Dr. Manhattan, like after he's been disintegrated, as he slowly starts to reintegrate. Right. It was weird because they used the same motivation in Heroes. Because Sylar was a watchmaker, and he learned how to put watches together from his dad and grandfather.
Gotcha.
And so he figured out how to put his individual cogs back together after being molecularly disintegrated.
Right.
And he starts with and he starts with like his endocrine system.
Right. Yes. I remember that. I might go back and rewatch it now, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff in it. Plus, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is the shit. He's so good in like everything that he does, and especially with as much of a douchebag character as the comedian is, because the guy's such a piece of shit. But and like the weird anyway, otherwise I'm gonna start ranting about rape apologism like in this fucking series and stuff, because there's a lot of things. Again, it's something old, values dissonance doesn't make it okay. Anyway,
gotcha. Yes. All right. Well, in other news, we got DC Universe. So there's a lot of details that came out recently, everything except for the price. And so for those of you that aren't caught up, which is the only thing everybody wants to know, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And so for those of you that that are not in the know, DC has announced its own streaming platform. They announced it sometime last year.
Yeah.
And they said it was going to come out sometime this year. And so I think everybody kind of speculated it would be the end of this year, but it's coming out in the fall, I believe.
Wow.
and what they are getting, or what we are getting, is access to original programming, classic DC movies, sort of digital comics, and access to exclusive merchandise.
Ooh.
So, people are not, or we haven't heard anything about like their more recent films, so we don't know that those will end up on there. My guess is they might come in and out, or maybe the first one that they did might slowly kind of come in, and then the next ones shortly thereafter. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was hoping they would do the where it like comes to theaters at the same time it hits like video on demand.
Oh, yeah.
So that there's your reason to do it. You'd be able to get it to see it cheaper at the same time in the comfort of your own home.
There was going to be a movie service that was going to be like that. They had talked about it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was a theater chain or if it was an independent company, but they were going to put boxes in homes basically, and you can rent out the movies that are in the theaters currently.
So you could basically pay per viewing of
Pay
this.
per viewing, yeah. Yes.
Pay-per-view.
They could have called it that even. Yes.
Hey,
How come nobody
2018.
else has thought of it?
So some of the exclusives are the live-action Titans series.
Oh yeah,
Doom
that's
Patrol,
cool.
we've talked about that
Yes,
before.
Doom
Swamp
Patrol.
Thing, animated Young Justice, Outsiders, Harley Quinn, and then they were talking about Batman the Animated Series in HD, so the kind of
Nice.
remaster of
Those
that.
are so
Okay.
great.
And yeah, again, exclusive access to some merchandise.
Neat.
This will be out on everything: Android, iOS, Roku, Fire. Amazon Fire.
like,
Sweet.
you know what? Honestly, if they would do even without like putting voiceover into like motion comics or something. Shout out to my work for DC doing motion comics.
Yes, yes.
I would. I think it would be really neat if they would do that, like panel by panel shows of like comics episodes, because they rent these things out. Like, you know, if you go on there are a lot of websites out there where you can pay like $4 a month and you get access to like all of Marvel's comics or all of DC's comics or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like
Comixology, people pay monthly for that.
yes,
Yeah.
It was like if they threw all of that in on top because it's their property.
I would read more comics if they did that.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Yeah, that would be smart,
Yeah.
and it's not going to cost them anything. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited about the DC universe? You're gonna pay for it?
I'm
You getting all that
indifferent.
money in
I'm
there?
not going to pay for it. I'm indifferent.
Yeah.
But I think it's good that they're doing it.
Yeah, like I'll go to someone's house.
Like good for
Paying
them.
for
Like
it.
pat on the back. But
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
I am saying absolutely yes to the version in my head that I was
You
just talking
Netflixed
about.
your
Gotcha.
That
brain.
one, that is awesome. With this one, maybe.
I'm way less likely to get this before Disney releases theirs by the end of the year.
Oh, right.
That's the one because they got everything.
that's
in
got
that.
Marvel
Star Wars
and
and
Star
Marvel,
Wars.
and
Yep.
everything.
The whole
Because
Batman.
if it's like less than $5, you know, if it's
Right,
$5
well,
or
I don't
less,
know.
they can have my money. It's like I can afford $5 stupid bucks.
I don't think they're gonna be.
Yeah.
They're gonna be charging more than that. I'm
Oh
almost
yeah.
positive.
Oh, I'm
It'll be
almost
like
certain.
10.
It'll,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
$10.99
They'll do that, and it
at
was
the
like, I'm
minimum,
sorry,
I think.
Netflix like
Hey,
outdoes
Francis.
everything you got right
Hey,
there.
Francis, you want to adjust C930 a little bit? Might be kind of difficult, but it looks a little crooked. It's okay. We got a new producer on set today, Mr. Francis. Thank you for joining us.
Woo,
Hey,
Francis.
Francis, thank you very much for
Yeah.
all of your help.
Yeah.
And Connor, our producer today.
Oh yeah, you
Hey,
two gentlemen
Connor.
are the backbone, the cartilage,
Now get out of the shot.
the music. Do your job.
Stanley's getting comfortable.
Uh-oh.
His
A little too comfortable.
director side is coming back out.
Just
I
wait
like
till
it.
you hit your leg on this table. You'll be out of here so fast.
Anyways, in other news, what else we got going today?
Well, we got the summer box office, which so I guess last year was the lowest in over a decade,
Yeah.
and we're about 15% up from that this year. But
Nice.
I don't know. In my opinion, it's still been kind of a slow summer. I mean, we had the Star Wars movie, which sucked. I love Star Wars, but it was
Yeah.
I didn't expect any different though, so it didn't like upset me that much. I was
right.
like, eh, all right.
Fair.
It was an almost
Kinda
hot
new.
take.
Almost,
right.
but I
Yeah.
just didn't care enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta
Understandable.
care for the
Close.
hot takes.
Yeah.
right?
Close, right?
Highs and lows. It was a low, you know. Just yeah, we've you've got Incredibles 2, the Jurassic World. I haven't seen that yet, so
I haven't either.
I think Jurassic World is almost at $1 billion already. Did
Yeah,
they? Did
yeah.
they beat?
It is,
Its opening
uh,
was insane.
It's
it's
so crazy.
got through June 28th. It was 193.4 million.
That would have been
Wow.
local.
And Incredibles
Oh.
2 is doing
That would have been probably
amazing
domestic
as
numbers.
well.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, I wouldn't
Domestically.
doubt
Yeah,
that.
and
Absolutely.
rightfully
That makes
so.
more sense.
This was a hot last couple weekends.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Solo just lost a lot of money for Disney, but you know they're Disney, so they'll
I think
be
they made
fine.
200,
Yep,
200 million in opening or so far. No,
Solo?
I think domestically maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
I could
The
be-
Avengers is 2.032 billion globally.
Nice. Yeah, that
Just
makes
a little
sense.
pocket change,
Right,
you know,
Yeah,
just a
Disney's
little
gonna be
pocket
fine.
I
change.
think I think they might be
They'll be
fourth
okay.
fourth highest
And that's
grossing
like
of
the
all
first-
time.
How many of
part,
the movies
like-
that I just said were Disney? That was
Like most of them.
Most of them.
And the article you're reading too, I think Disney took away 60% of this year's
Yeah.
revenue.
You do not
It's only
fuck
gonna
with
be
the
worse.
mouse.
You don't.
That is kind of crazy how much
They've
much
been
media
monopolizing.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
it's gonna continue.
stuff for.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
potential Fox merger.
That's kind of why I'm supporting a lot of the DC stuff because it was like I want
They need some
like
competition.
Disney
superhero
commands-
material that's not all that, you know.
36% of the market share, followed by Fox
Wow.
Do
And
you
then-
think they
Wow,
ever
that's gonna-
at
find
12%.
Yeah. Well, do you
Yeah.
think they ever find like the irony in the fact that they are becoming by and large?
I don't know.
I would say
It's
no.
a good question. I don't think they care. I think.
I
Yeah,
was-
probably
yeah.
The
not.
money.
Just laughing themselves to sleep
Yeah.
with piles of money every night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And all of their
Yep.
exclusive merchandise.
Oh,
And
man.
Walt's
That makes
frozen,
good
so
pillows.
he's making a comeback soon.
Who?
Walt.
Walt. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, just his head. You know,
Come
Once-
back from the
once
grave.
we can figure out how to,
get that Nixon
unfreeze
body.
him,
What do you think he would say?
then
Like,
we can do it.
I just always picture like Futurama heads
yeah.
when
Yeah.
when we.
But what do you
Hopefully
think
he
Walt
wouldn't say
Disney would
racist
have to
things.
say about like 2018?
Oh,
Dead
nowadays
computers.
he'd
Yeah.
have something
Ruining
incredibly
everything.
sexist and or racist to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, wait, there's a little too much color in my movie.
Oh,
Hey, I'm not going to pretend to be Walt.
really racist hot takes.
Racist rants. That's what we'll call the glasses. I
The
also read
racist rants.
I also remember on the article that comedies have been doing awful for the last year or
Yeah.
two.
Yep.
I haven't seen anything funny new,
yeah.
and
Not
I don't even
intentionally
remember.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not in theaters.
yeah.
On
Yeah, it's been
Netflix,
tough.
maybe.
Yeah.
They just
Very
kind of
true.
sprinkle them in on everything else now. Like
Yeah.
Incredibles 2 had some funny
I
parts.
remember
and
we had that whole conversation about tag and
Blockers. and
Yeah.
blockers and game
Game night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game night was pretty funny.
I liked
That's
it.
what I hear. I
forgot.
keep hearing that was
I
pretty
forgot
good.
about that. That was pretty
I guess
funny.
Yeah.
That
I
might
liked
have
it.
been like the exception.
It was charming.
It
I
was.
thought.
Right,
I liked
yeah,
it.
but they just haven't been making any money on that
No.
end.
And
No.
that's so
It was
weird
quickly
because
forgotten,
comedies
even
for
though it
so
was
long
good.
have been the
Very
cinematic lifeblood of Hollywood. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we also talked. All the comedy guys are doing like dramas now.
Going to-
like,
Yeah.
K's doing something.
Why do you think it's so hard to make people really laugh now?
I wonder.
I have no idea. It has nothing to
Nothing
do
is
with the
funny.
climate of
Oh, nothing.
Just the
to do
climate.
with it.
just the climate. It's
Yes.
hot.
Climate
It's too hot.
change is making everything unfunny.
I also think a lot of them are heading over to television too.
Yeah,
we
well,
were
that's what
talking-
but they're also doing like Apatow's doing a drama too as well. That's what I'm saying. Everyone's kind of branching. Like our comedy people aren't
Right.
doing the comedy.
And Netflix. Netflix has got everything.
Netflix has good comedy
right,
specials
yeah.
too.
Danny McBride's writing Halloween.
Oh.
That stuff.
Yeah.
Like, like I
What?
said, all our,
I
didn't
all
know
our-
that.
All
They're
of
all,
our,
they're all
That's
Jordan
cool.
Peele
our
did Get
comedy
Out.
people.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
that's it. You're getting all the funniest minds, and they're making like well, I think we talked about these. The people who are the best at comedy know how to get those deep-seated, visceral reactions
That's
out
true.
of people. So they make really good dramas. They
The
make
best
really good
comics
horror.
are very good at manipulating your emotions, and therefore, yes, absolutely.
That might explain a
Oh,
lot.
it's scary. Too much power.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it's an old actor thing. It's they say if you can do comedy, you can do drama.
Yeah,
Yep.
not
Yeah.
Just
not
about- it's
necessarily the
not
other way around.
but
Yeah.
yeah, you
Right.
can definitely. Yeah. So, there you go.
What else we got going in the news, Stan?
Oh, this little video game.
Little.
Just a little one.
Little series of
little
good.
guy.
Tiny.
Right, yeah, it came out in the early aughts. First
like
person
that.
shooter by the name of Halo. Has since spawned sequel after sequel,
Movie.
a big
Spin-offs.
a big abandoned Hollywood project that
Yep.
had like Peter Jackson, Guillermo
Right.
del Toro,
Neil
like all these other
Blomkamp.
people.
What
yeah,
the heck happened?
I think everyone wanted their own version, and then of course I think Microsoft, because they're the main people, wanted their own
Yeah.
So, and then plus like what we talked about, it's really hard to fit all this into a 2-hour movie.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
There were studio disputes over the movie not
and
being
it just
made.
everyone. So Showtime is, I guess they're doubling down on their original productions or their own productions. They ordered a 10-episode season of Halo.
Wow.
With Awake series creator Kyle Killen. He's going to serve as the showrunner.
Yeah.
And filmmaker Rupert Wyatt. He's off of The Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
And he just did some of the Exorcist TV series.
Now, does this say if it's live action or animated?
Live action.
Yeah, I bet
Really?
it is.
So
Okay.
and it's dramatizing an epic 26th century conflict between humanity and an alien threat known as the Covenant.
Yep.
Do they
Great
have a Space
villains.
Force?
So we're
Sorry.
going. It's given. Yeah, it's given. Actually, and Spielberg, Amblin Entertainment has got a hand in it. They're not producing, but they're maybe maybe
Okay.
they got something. Going on.
Ooh.
Okay.
Neat.
That
update
changes
for
a
me.
lot.
Yeah,
That
you know,
really
so
does.
it's and they're even Showtime is they're saying this is our most ambitious series ever.
Huh.
So I think everyone's kind of.
I mean, that image is
very
pretty
Game
cool.
of Thrones.
Yeah, I think
essentially.
that's kind of the idea is they want to put this epic because I think that was and there was a mediocre digital series of Halo, and I think part of the problem with that one was that they just didn't have the scope.
Sure.
of the
Yeah,
game.
'cause this is
So now-
ambitious.
Yeah, so I think with
This
all
is going
these
to cost so much
all these
money.
resources, I think that's what they're doing. You know, they're putting all these resources and they're getting these people because they know it's probably going to be a lot to
Interesting.
undertake. So it's looking to begin production early 2019.
Okay.
So
Where?
we got some time.
Where are they like?
We don't have any.
Space.
Don't have any specifics.
Should have known.
Mars.
Right? Yeah, they're
Shoulda known.
constructing the.
I hear
Halo
they have a
as
really
we
good
speak.
tax rebate.
Oh,
in
yes.
space.
Yes.
I
Elon
like
Musk.
that. I like it. He's sending his dumb car to do rings around it.
Right. Yep.
Dumb car.
And there's no actual release date set. So
Okay.
we're just kind of now getting into the
it'll probably take a
beginnings
while.
here.
They're
So,
probably making contracts right now, get all the actors involved.
At
Oh,
least-
definitely.
At least 2-3. It'll take at least 2 years, I think, if they want to do that
Not
epic of a
surprising.
scale. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I imagine the amount of like CGI work.
Yeah.
Just like getting just regular shots would be just.
Yeah.
Maybe
Tremendous.
late 2020,
Mhm.
something
Maybe.
like that.
could very well
That's
be.
ambitious.
So it's a 10
I think,
episode?
but yeah.
10 episode season.
Season.
That's what
It
they're
is
starting
not
So
a.
with.
hour episodes.
Probably.
Apparently, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
They're
It's
they're
Showtime.
taking the
Movie.
show format.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
10-hour movie.
So
I
I
mean,
know-
I like Showtime. I think they put out good
Yeah.
content.
Really,
I
so-
agree.
They're,
Yeah,
I
they
think
I agree.
They're looking to make their mark too.
They
Yeah,
definitely-
Their original
Power
content is good.
Was one of their
Powers,
What's that?
yeah.
yeah, Powers
Much.
really good.
It's a police procedural in the world of superhumans.
Oh.
It's not licensed stuff. It was because it was whom? Brian Michael Bendis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Brian Avon Oming. Just a lot of like very big names. But yeah, as a procedural for people who are like slowly killing off the gradual deaths of superheroes and stuff. But it was like an ex-superhero was a detective.
Gotcha.
Really cool series.
Yeah.
All right. Nothing like
awesome.
that Will Smith one.
Oh God, no. No.
That looked bad.
Well, Halo has a lot of lore. There's like
Yeah.
so much
it's-
story.
yeah, big time.
That's even outside like the 5 video games. The 5 main video games. They
Yeah.
have
Oh, yeah.
2 versions of Halo
spin-offs.
Wars.
You got Reach, ODST.
Yeah,
Right,
and then we
right,
also have the
right.
mobile games and like smaller computer games,
Halo
and
War,
then
yeah.
a bunch of books.
And
Yep.
then comic books
And comic books.
It's massive.
I've never been a fan of Halo, and I'm already in. Showtime just really puts out stuff with depth, so that.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I never gave a damn about any of that
Yeah.
stuff. It was like I've sat and watched you play the hell out of it, and I was just, but it was just like, yeah, they really do good. They do good work. So yeah,
Hey Fernando, you want to come over and watch me play video games?
I will hold your hand. and watch you play
That's a good friend.
my friend.
Feed you popcorn.
But I'll need my other hand for the controller, so I'd be
I
glad-
said,
you can hold
Linked
you can hold
arms.
anything else you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. Hey, you guys
Alright,
started it. You guys started
What? Elbows are gross.
Here we go.
Hot take. Glasses.
it. Oh, Jessica's got hot take.
I don't care
We
enough.
got a few things.
Oh, Jessica, what other news we got going on?
The Mayans MC is going to be a new show, which is going to be
Excellent.
a prequel to Sons of Anarchy that's coming out. Let's see it on September 4th this year. So really soon it will be premiering on FX. Also, really like a lot of what FX puts out as content in general.
Yeah.
Love Sons of Anarchy. Really highly recommend it if you guys haven't seen it. So good. And the thing that well, there are two things that I'm really excited about. One is that this is created by Kurt Sutter again, who did Sons of Anarchy.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to have any kind of a relation to Shakespeare the way that Sons of Anarchy was Hamlet.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if it did.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm most excited about is Edward James Olmos is starring.
Nice.
I didn't know that.
Excellent.
No, I've never heard that. But you know what? Him in like
He's
the
like
Ron Perlman
my
role
favorite.
could be superb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sinister
he's
bad
from he's either from Albuquerque or Santa Fe. He's from somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Was
New
that-
Mexico.
Wow.
He's
You
a
have,
New
you, have,
Mexican.
you have a friend with a cool story.
Yeah, one of my coworkers like like went on a couple dates with him in high school and like made out with him a couple times.
Right
And
on.
She was like, "Yeah, he's really charming." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, Jessica and our favorite show
I
is
almost kissed her
Battlestar.
so I could have like
Just-
the
You could be
residue
almost
on me.
adjacent.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's got to be some
Once
DNA
removed.
left.
Yeah, there's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of overlap with American Me.
Yes. That is awesome. I did not know
I
that.
know.
Yes.
This series is a prequel, right?
Yes.
Is that
It's
what
going to
you
be
said?
a prequel, and it's going to have, I don't know who the guy's name is, but it's going to have one of the original guys who was in the Sons of Anarchy Mayans.
Oh,
He's
okay.
kinda like
Yeah.
he was kind of like one of the front runners of the
Right,
Mayans
right.
gang.
Well,
and
I was gonna say,
so-
how about did they say any of the other guys gonna make
Yeah,
cameos?
so
or?
maybe his name is JD Pardo. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Jacqueline Obradors, Antonio Jaramillo, Richard Cabral, Clayton Cardenas, which this sounds really good because it's clearly a Hispanic cast.
Yeah,
which
no.
I went
that's
in an
cool.
all-white
I would
Mayans
hate
cast.
it. Well, but they do that a lot.
Yeah.
They put
Yeah.
characters in, and then you're like, what? This is
Notice-
a Mexican.
Yeah,
this is
Sons
like
of
a
Anarchy
Hispanic
though.
gang.
Sons of Anarchy though, like they've never made that mistake, and they really couldn't have because it wouldn't have made any sense.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah. Note the lack of mohawks and beards.
yeah. Yeah, so it looks really good. And there's another creator who I'm not familiar with. His name is Elgin James. He, I don't know what he's done really, but he is like a co-creator. So we'll
I got
see.
really into the original series. I'm rewatching the original series
Easy
now
to
just
watch,
so
too.
I
Oh, yeah.
can go back and be
Especially
fresh
that
with
first
Mayans.
season.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cool things that they
Oh.
did with this show too. One of which the creator put himself in the show as like one of the craziest characters.
Yeah.
And then one of the people that was in Sons of Anarchy or in that biker gang was from an actual biker gang.
Yeah.
Hell's Angels.
Well, he was from Hell's Angels. Yeah, and so he was
Yeah.
like not only like consulting with the show, but also he was acting in the show, which was really cool.
Yeah, they did a lot of consulting, like specifically with Hell's Angels for the show. Which
It's an
is
interesting
really
source of
scary.
income for Hell's
Yeah.
Angels.
Oh yeah.
Really
Yeah, right.
freaking scary to think about that is like kind of
How it was.
realistic and
Yep.
how it was, and you're like, damn, would not mess with any of those
No,
dudes.
what a scary
Oh
life.
my
Yeah.
God.
Also, I just like that they had Henry Rollins in it, even though
Yeah.
Henry Rollins
Yeah.
played the anti-Henry
Oh,
Rollins.
right?
I
Yeah.
know, just like wasn't he like a skinhead? or
Yeah, he was like
something?
crazy
Yeah.
Nazi. Like
Yeah.
AJ, I
Yeah.
think was his character.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway.
So
and
the
the-
co-creator, I just found this out. He was a singer for a hardcore punk band,
Fair.
and he formed a society called Fuck Shit Up, Friends Stand United,
yeah.
for the
Alright.
purpose
Okay.
of purging violent white power
It's like Boston.
skinheads from the Boston
Right.
hardcore
Yeah.
scene.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, what
All
band
right.
was it?
Who
Do you
was
know?
Wrecking Crew.
Okay, I haven't
Wrecking
heard.
Crew. Okay.
I'm going
cool.
to check
Nice.
that out.
Yep. So,
Interesting.
It's
That's
very
cool.
interesting. Yeah.
I can
Well,
see
he
you in
clearly
a. I can see you in a cut.
in a cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
in
their
a-
their
in a-
leather
oh,
jacket.
leather
thing.
vest.
Leather
God,
vest
I'm
or
so
leather-
dumb.
Leather vest.
Yeah, I can wear that totally.
I would ride behind you.
Ride or die.
I'm kind of a punk. You know, I can do it.
Anyways, our next segment is coming soon now with Post Tomatoes, which always comes before.
Pre-tomatoes.
That's right. So every
Sorry, I
week we
missed it.
look at the most recent television or film that is going to be coming out, and then we assign what we think the Rotten Tomato scores are going to be. We look at the Rotten Tomato scores that come out the following week, or at least the real ones.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we were very
so
wrong.
this week, rather last week, it was 3 Identical Strangers, which came in, or which we guessed was going to be an 83%.
Wow, it did really well.
Ended up getting 94.
Cool.
Yeah,
Wow,
this was
pretty high.
I've read
great.
about it. It sounds like crazy. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like
I like the
there's the whole
premise.
like concept of here, but then it like takes a really sharp turn.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just-
like
yeah.
government conspiracy
Yeah,
stuff,
like a whole,
all sorts of
yeah,
crazy
it's like a
things.
whole other. I can totally see that.
But it's a docu-series that's getting a lot, not a series, but a documentary that's getting a
Documentary,
lot of press.
Especially for a documentary
crazy.
film.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
well, we discussed this. Yeah, we had a lot of opinions about all of these last week. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the documentaries are like. Well, I mean, I guess the last big one was the neighbor one. What?
Mr.
Mr.
Won't
Rogers
You Be
one.
My Neighbor?
Oh,
Won't You
right,
Be My
right,
Neighbor?
right,
Yeah,
right.
so
Which
it's
deserved
not like they.
100%.
Oh, you watched it?
No.
No, okay.
But I know it does.
No, it does.
I
You
saw
watched
something.
it.
I did watch it. I saw something with Alex Trebek on the. It's called Game Changers, but I don't know if it's a documentary. I don't know what it is. I just saw it on Fandango.
Okay.
In
Oh, yeah.
passing, so
And
I don't know.
Whitney comes out this week too. Which,
Oh, really?
Which is about Whitney Houston, right?
Oh,
Everywhere?
I don't know where it comes out, or I think it's a limited release probably.
She's had a rough life. That's gonna
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's pretty good.
Anyways, Glow 2, 89%.
I knew
By Glow
we'd do
2, I mean
better
Glow
than that.
Season 2, which
I didn't
released
know
last
Rotten
Friday.
Tomatoes ever gave 100%.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I never
Whoa!
did.
Sorry,
Yes,
I
they do. No,
stepped
that's good.
right over you.
Oh, it's 100%. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Glow's a quality show, though.
That's what I keep hearing. I need to watch
Really
stuff.
good.
Jeez,
Do you like Mark Maron?
I love Mark.
Yeah.
Maron.
he's
Who
the,
doesn't?
He's the main reason.
I didn't even
started
realize he
watching
was
it.
in
He's
there
so amazing.
until
Yeah.
like a week ago
good.
when someone told me.
Like it's interesting just because except for the glaring exception coming up. We've seen a lot of sequels or follow-ups to things actually do better than the original.
True.
Just
Right.
like with Deadpool 2, you
Right,
know?
right.
Yeah, and then just with this, it was like the first one was good. I knew the second one was going to be good, and yeah, it ended up outpacing it.
You're right. It's
I
hard to
gotta
follow.
start that.
Yep.
Yes,
I
you
gotta watch
do.
it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'd
Oh,
say
yeah.
top 5 best Netflix originals.
So good.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sure.
next
Yeah.
to like Dark and Stranger Things and a bunch of other good ones.
So good.
It sounds like it might. If Glow 2 has 100%, then it's better than Stranger Things because
Right.
the second
well,
Stranger
no,
Things.
Also, it
Reasonable.
just came out this past
That's
Friday,
true.
so that score will go
It's
down,
got a
I'm
lot
sure.
of hype right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. And Sicario, Day of the,
Soldado!
also known as Sicario
What
2.
does it say?
It is. It really is.
Sicario 2, we thought it was going to be 89%. It came
Yeah.
out at 62%.
What the hell?
Wow.
What happened there?
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah.
Well, different.
It's because
different,
Huh?
Oh, I was just saying,
Different
it's a different
director.
director.
Yeah.
I believe it's the same writer though, so
Yeah.
who knows?
Has a cool poster.
It's because they
Right?
didn't have that character in it. They
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have the
yeah.
American Mexican Grim Reaper.
Yeah. The Pirates of the Caribbean
It's
character.
because Emily Blunt wasn't in it.
Maybe
She was so
That's
good.
my theory.
She
Right,
was so
assume.
good.
Yeah, which is hard. It's interesting. Well, I mean, this isn't the first time, but it's a sequel without the main character,
right.
right? And so that's really tough of a. That's a
Hard
hard
sell.
follow up, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
sell.
Because it was everybody else except her
Right.
for that
Much,
one,
yeah.
pretty
and
much.
there's just an elephant in their screen.
Yeah.
Elephant in the screen.
The way that the first one ended, you know, it would have just kind of been as close to a happy ending as she could have gotten in a series like
Right.
this, you know, where it was just like, yeah, you get to live and just like, yeah, and then it will mean you're not hunted down by all of the crazy assholes in this, you know, in this
Yeah.
film series.
Yeah.
Sure,
And then
yeah.
it's just like, leave it to the guys who probably are all going to get horribly murdered, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of sad. I'm probably gonna go see it
What's
still.
do we know what the
probably see it
audience
this week.
score on that one is though?
I don't. That's actually I'd be interested to see how
'Cause
that.
that's what, I think that's
yeah.
one of those ones that might have
look it
been
up.
because I have seen like people that have saw it, they really enjoyed it, and one of the things that
Yeah.
I want to go see it now, but they said it ramps up the action
Okay.
from the first one, so
Sure.
I'm thinking that might be like part of the just maybe why
Ah.
the critics
Yeah.
didn't
'Cause-
like it as
'cause
much.
some
but
people
yeah,
Prefer that, and then critics are like,
yeah, they're like, well,
Ooh.
right,
That's what we were discussing last week,
Audience
too.
score even less.
Is that right?
Oh.
Wow.
60%. I mean, they
Wow.
had 2% less.
Huh.
That's not
That's still
terrible,
less.
but
No.
yeah, that's
It's like
not-
on the
yeah.
border
I
of
thought it
watchable.
looked.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I mean, I'll probably still watch it just
Yeah,
because I'm
for sure.
interested, but I'm sad. That sucks.
Yeah.
I like the first
Plus,
one.
I try to support all the movies shot here. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
like,
definitely.
Definitely.
yeah.
I like to be able to be like, hey, I know where that is.
Not
I've been there before.
I will
like
say,
working
like
in
one
the
of the
same
reasons I
office
like
that
that
day.
first one so much is that when the action came, it was that intense.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like all the time.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But you know, not everybody can be a John Wick.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
What?
I was I was exhausted after John Wick.
No, why can't everybody?
Yeah.
I agree with
Fair.
you on that.
We'll see when Mission Impossible comes out. Anyways, our next
Can
segment
everybody
is
be Keanu Reeves? I mean, let's
That
just
would be
real
so
here.
That would be
fun.
amazing.
Yeah.
There was a guy at Duke City Comic Con because I was wearing a black suit and I have this going on, and the guy who came who had Keanu Reeves kind of pinched face, but he was dressed like a John Wick, and he walked by and we both kind of went at each other and he just kept walking. It was rad.
actually I saw that guy at another con.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
John
like
Wick guy.
Keanu Reeves.
Nice.
he does.
He
yes.
really
He
does.
should carry a puppy around.
And then it's dead. Anyways, our next segment is
Pitbull. He has
It's
a
just
pitbull
singed a little bit.
too. Okay.
I feel like what kind of puppy? It would be one of those dogs that has the tongue that hangs out the side.
Yeah,
Right.
pitbull.
Yeah.
Derpy dog.
Or
Derpy.
just a
Yeah, the
bulldog.
derby.
coming soon now with Pre-Tomatoes always comes after.
Post
So
Tomatoes.
we are going to
Tomatoes.
give our Rotten Tomato scores
Really post on
for this. Next slide, please. We got Sorry to Bother You, which comes out this week. All these are this week.
Yeah.
We got Jackie Chan's Bleeding Steel
Okay,
and
okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an
Every
interesting,
Good week.
I like all of
interesting
it.
week. Yes. And so, yeah, we watched Sorry to Bother You trailer a long time ago. We were all kind of like
This is
taken
freaking
aback
weird.
because of how weird it looks.
Yeah.
Do we have time? I haven't seen
To watch the trailer? Yeah, sorry.
I'll do it on my own time.
But
It's
you
alright.
should watch
I
it.
will.
You should watch the trailer.
And
I
the
will.
Bleeding Steel trailer.
so
'cause
should all of
holy
you.
God.
shit.
Yeah, that one's a crazy, weird looking one, too.
Jackie Chan live action anime.
Off the chain.
I didn't realize that it's coming out on VOD and the theater at the same time.
Oh, yeah?
Bleeding Steel.
Oh, one
Yeah.
of those pay-per-views.
Baby,
Yeah.
for you.
That's, somebody should coin that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I hope
kinda
it doesn't
catchy.
bomb as bad as all his most recent movies have.
Yeah, because I like The Foreigner.
The Foreigner was great.
Yeah.
It was?
I liked
Did
it.
The Foreigner have his sons in it? I heard that rumor. I don't know if
I
it was
wasn't
true.
aware if they did.
Okay.
They might have been are his sons on the stunt team? That might have
Okay.
been what they
Sure,
were.
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sure they had a massive stunt team on that one.
Right.
Yeah.
And lastly, of course, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes.
The notably the first Marvel film out of 20 movies with a female lead in the title.
And she's not even really the lead; she's a
No.
co-lead.
Right. Yeah.
sure.
But
I mean,
they
they
finally
can't even
made
give
it.
us like a full spot. Come
Right.
on, guys.
Next one's
It's
the
coming.
Wasp.
It's
I
coming.
kind of think, yeah.
and she is, and as shown in the trailer, she is infinitely more competent than Ant-Man.
Sure.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
I was
is
gonna say, I
true.
think that's part of. I think that's probably part of what they're
Because
playing.
he's
mean,
bumbling.
it is.
She's a badass.
Right.
She's
And
like
we do
kicking
have
ass.
Captain Marvel coming, and she's like the end all
That's-
be all. So
That's the one I want. I want that to be their Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Sorry to Bother You, starring what's his name?
I forget his
that guy's
name.
name.
It's right there on the
He's
top. I can't read it.
he's
I can't read it
from,
either.
Get Out.
He's
the
in
guy
it.
from
Get Out. He's in Atlanta.
Yes. Yeah, the guy from
What's his
Atlanta.
name, Connor?
I can't read it.
Can you read? I can't read that.
Okay. Yeah.
I will look it up here.
But anyways, yeah, he's from Get Out. He's from
Ask
Atlanta.
Google.
And it's a trippy film where his voice gets taken
Very
over by
social commentary.
He gets white voice.
he gets white voiced.
Lakeith? Lakeith?
Whoa,
Lakeith
whoa.
Stanfield.
Yeah.
You got white voice.
Because it shows. Because Melissa.
It's like an R.
In the trailer, it shows him working in a call center with Danny Glover, and he's like, "You've got to use your white voice." And he's
Of
like, "What?"
course
He's like,
Danny Glover's
"Oh, hello
there.
there, sir. How might I be able to assist you in your endeavors?" And so,
You guys remember who his white voice is?
So it's a woke movie now.
Yeah, very.
and there's these intense dream sequences and all sorts of crazy shit. But no, who
That
was it?
sounds.
Who's the white voice,
fun.
Connor?
I'm David Cross.
David Cross.
Nice.
Yes,
That's amazing.
So good. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be great. And like
Very
I saw the
social commentary.
Yeah.
conscious,
Well,
yeah.
I'd been seeing the trailer for this, and like everybody's cracking up in the trailers, like in the theaters.
Yeah.
Like it
Nice.
looks like, huh?
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, it just looks like it's going to be one that obviously the social commentary is going to be pivotal for this, but at the same time, it looks like something that's going to be able to please crowds.
So
you know?
we were just
It-
talking about how there haven't been funny movies, so I hope so.
There-
Absolutely.
yeah,
I needed to really
original
laugh.
concept, I guess, but it was either Sundance or Cannes. It killed. So
Nice.
Yeah.
it's kinda-
Either
it's
way,
coming off.
that's-
It's coming off that.
It's
Yeah.
got Tessa Thompson in it, who is just
forget
killing
it.
it,
Yeah.
killing
Yeah.
it. Every
Yeah.
movie, every show,
Everything.
she's like everywhere.
Since
So,
like Thor Ragnarok,
yep,
it was just like
so
yeah.
I'm like down. And,
Uh,
yeah, it looks good.
And then the gnarly, weird, bleeding steel with Jackie Chan. I think he might have even co-produced it or something.
Probably it looks like
Yeah.
It looks like,
Yeah, because it's like Jackie Chan's
action.
Star Wars giant mech.
yeah
It
Yeah.
looks insane.
extravaganza.
I mean,
What is he swinging from?
I'm gonna say like for that
Awesomeness.
one that it's gonna get a low score, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm wrong, but that's what I'll say.
No, I totally agree with that because the concept, I really thought it was cool when we saw
Yeah.
that big trailer for
Is this
it.
an American film?
I do not believe so.
I think it's a
think
Chinese
so,
film.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like Chinese
Oh.
Australian or some shit. Like from what
Yeah.
we saw from
Interesting.
from the beginning, it was some multinational coalition, but it was filmed in some place with a lot of white people, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, because they very future cityized.
I know they did produce a lot of. He did produce a lot of films in Australia. Like,
Okay.
like his second renaissance, like a Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Oh, that was
some-
Australia.
Yeah,
And-
and there's
and
another
Canada.
one too. Yeah.
Oh,
It was Commonwealth filming.
First Strike.
Something
I
like-
think was
yeah,
also
yeah, I
done.
think
Remember,
so,
you had
yeah.
the
Like
koala
Operation
underwear.
Condor and yeah. So yeah.
Yeah,
Any-
it's First Strike's a good one.
Anyway, I don't believe we
It
gave a
hugs
score
you.
to Sorry to
No.
Bother You.
No,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't,
sorry
and I just
about
wanted to kind of go through them real quick since we're.
I'm sorry.
And then Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is the 20th movie or 20? This is the 20th movie.
Yeah,
I
I believe
think.
so.
Is it?
In the MCU in
Sounds right.
Phase 3, we're still in 3.
Yeah.
4 starts next year, I believe. And yeah, this is gonna be a fun
right.
follow-up, I think.
It
Yeah.
looks
To-
so much fun.
Yes.
I'm really excited.
It's a very interesting like standout amongst the rest of the MCU films.
Yeah, well, because I like these because the Ant-Man series seem to be heisty, you know, and that's like what I really like. Where it's like it's not going to be egregious world-shattering superpower shit. It's going to be like that street level kind of thing where it's like, okay, there's going to be ass kicking. You're going to see Ant-Man like turn 20 feet tall and kick over a truck, you know, but like otherwise, no one's using exotic alien super weapons. Well, except for whoever that like spectral female character was. It's like poofing in and out of reality and shit. But yeah, like outside of that, for this being like lower-ish level super crime,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
that's really neat. I like that, and of course, like all the crazy shit they were showing the Wasp do because
Right.
she was a
Yeah.
great character, and it was like they kind of they're making her look a lot stronger than they do in the comics.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
and that's something that I'm completely on board with.
Plus, there's different versions of the Wasp anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
like, in the comics, I mean.
Yes,
So, yeah.
because there's at least 3 different Ant-Man or Yellow Jacket or Giant Man or whatever. Yeah, and but then so it should go with the Wasp. But it was cool. They brought back what's his name, Michael Douglas as the original as Henry Pym, and that was kind of cool that they kind of marginalized that character because in the as the mentor that's good, but in the comics and shit that's where they had him as like the wife beater and stuff.
I always
know?
thought it was funny that the Ant-Man and this, with the Wasp. I'm just gonna go ahead and figure it's these ones are very lighthearted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the actual
very.
Ant-Man comic books are very like
super heavy.
heavy
Yeah,
and
it is
hardcore.
way
Talk about domestic violence and
Right. There was no
addiction
Paul
and
Rudd in the
yeah,
comics.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they did, and he was a villain at first. Scott Lang.
was
Yeah, because he had stolen like the Pym particle technology and like the Yellow Jacket suit and shit. Had
So
to be.
the comics were also heisty, is what you're saying.
Well, it all dovetailed a lot with the Avengers and like microverse stuff.
Got it. Right.
And so it was funny because it was vaster scope, smaller scale.
Okay.
You know. And that was cool because they delve into that.
There's a
like,
whole and there's a part of a run where it's just about the technology.
Yeah.
Because who is the one he gets? There's an Ant-Man who's an Ant-Man for like literally like 2 seconds and he gets shot in the head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
I
a
forget-
grasshopper. Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, there's a whole
Wow.
It's just
Interesting.
fun. Like I said, the
Now I want to read the
movies look,
comics.
Yeah.
like fun. There's so much fun compared to like the other kind of
Yeah, because the
Right.
first one,
you know?
yeah, super heisty.
Yeah, and I have a feeling they're gonna justify their place in not Civil War very early in this
Yeah.
film.
Sure.
Right.
I actually heard
You
that
mean Infinity War?
Infinity War. Thank you.
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
I heard the only Mexican in the Marvel universe that's in Ant-Man. What's his name?
Michael Pena.
Michael Pena. Yeah,
He's great.
I might
I
be
love
wrong
his
about
character.
that, but he's the only one I could think of.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Recognizable.
Yeah, I think he does like this monologue about how it doesn't like fit in with
Yeah.
or like why he's not there. And I think somebody else also mentioned too that Ant-Man was on house arrest from the last film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
so-
yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I think is
and
a funny reason for him not to be
Right.
Yeah, because after
be there.
Civil War, yeah, he was on the raft.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
So, anyways, let's give some Rotten Tomato scores, or at least what we think they're
do
going
it.
to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to bother you. What are you thinking?
High.
I'm
gonna
thinking
go
it's gonna be high.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 90s.
I'm gonna say 95.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm down
with
with
you.
that.
Yeah, because it's smart,
I think
it's
it's pretty
funny.
good.
There's so much cool shit about it. And again, when you have an audience laughing in the theater, and it's not
And we-
completely 100% a comedy, like and trippy dream sequences and shit, that plays very well.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and again, you know, it's social commentary that is more relevant than ever nowadays.
Definitely.
You know, so I bet there's going to be a lot of people in it. I bet the critics are going to love it. I bet the audiences are going to love it.
All right, then. You guys are all saying 95?
Yep.
All right,
Yeah, I'm
so
with that.
tomatoed. Bleeding Steel, Jackie Chan, what are we thinking?
62.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Sure.
gonna say something. In the
I
60s.
was gonna say like 60, but yeah. Sure.
Yeah, and it sucks
Sure.
because I want this to be badass, and I'm definitely going to go see it because what we saw in the trailer like snatched my attention and never let it go because it's like Bleeding Steel. That's a stupid fucking name, but I'm never going to forget it. You know,
Yeah.
it was just
Right.
like I remember because we were talking about it and I brought it up on an earlier screen source afterwards
Okay.
because I never forgot the concept or anything, and it seems like a movie that, if not handled right, could be utterly forgettable.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know?
and so do you think that's easy for it to not be handled right? Is that what we're...
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
which
but-
is why you're giving a low score?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it kicks ass.
Sure.
You know, that it's a fun alien invasion adventure. You know.
With Jackie Chan.
I'd
Yeah.
say
I
like
love Jackie Chan, but
since the
Yeah.
tuxedo,
Yeah.
that's where
Yeah.
I feel like he kind of like
started.
went
Was
off,
that with Jennifer
went off
Love
the rail.
Hewitt?
Yeah.
I believe so,
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was also, and then I think shortly after he did like Around the World in 80 Days and just started
Oh,
kind
he
of
did
like
crappy
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was. Did you ever see the?
Spy Next Door.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. The one where he's the Monkey King. Or
Oh yeah.
is
I
it
know.
something? The Forbidden Kingdom. Yeah.
Okay.
That was that. It was
God.
him with Jet Li.
Oh, and it was
Yeah,
good.
that was
Shit.
actually pretty
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't hear about that one. Anyways,
Okay.
Bleeding Still 60. Is that where we're going
Yeah,
with?
60.
62.
Yeah.
Let's do
62.
62.
Okay, 62 is fine. We'll go a little,
We'll
higher.
we'll give it the dead cat
we'll give
bounce.
It 2%.
Give it a
It's fine.
yeah.
So tomatoed Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's an investment term.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is
Yes.
going to do
Let's say
really well.
90s,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm going to say 92.
Sure.
That works.
I'm on board.
Like low
That
90.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Uh,
it looks like it's fun. Because the
Yeah.
first one didn't do that great in comparison, but it was still really good.
Right.
I think it did. The first one did better than everyone was expecting it.
Okay, that's fair. And you know, actually, because that's my only reservation was about the first one, kind of meh. But this one, especially with the prominence of the Wasp in it, I think that's going to be one of those things that affects the audience that comes in.
Yep.
And
That's the
that's
selling
like,
point.
yeah, do not underestimate your female audience demographic because this looks like this is going to be cool. And having a competent, female lead or
Yeah.
co-lead, as the case may be, like if she's somebody who's going out there and wrecking shop, that's something I really want to see.
Right.
don't
Yes. I'm excited to see kind of the humor in the movie. Less so than the.
I don't know. I'm scared about that because in the trailer, like all of the lines that are supposed to be funny were so like
They didn't
yeah, it was just like cookie cutter lines that you
Right.
oh juice box yeah okay.
Oh, you're being Paul Rudd again.
It's
yeah.
just- I
So,
love him.
I don't
though.
know.
But
I
like
do. I
in a
like him.
sexual way.
Right.
Hey,
Sorry.
Doesn't.
He's just so.
I thought it was more of a Never mind. I don't know what I'm saying.
Speak your mind, Melissa.
I don't have one.
So just to reiterate, sorry to bother you. I think we landed on 95.
Uh-huh.
Bleeding Steel 62 and Ant-Man and the Wasp 92.
Oh, so
Okay.
tomato. my
All
friend.
right, cool. So let's move on to our next segment, where it's mostly reviews. And so our first topic for review will be the What Are You Watching segment. So pretty straightforward. What have you guys been watching this week?
I'll go. I happened to catch a showing of A Quiet Place.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And actually, yeah, a lot of it reminded me of Hereditary, not in content, but just the idea of, just that tense sort of. They did a really good job of setting up, very tense and just kind of harrowing situations.
Sure,
You
yes.
were
Oh, and to
always-
be clear, the What Are You Watching segment, there will be no spoilers, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So this is your first time seeing that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I caught it, and I wanted to see it, and I figured I would never get a chance to, and I actually got a chance to see it, and it was one of those ones. If you can see it, I probably can't even see it in the theater now, but it's definitely one of those theater movies.
Yeah.
Because and The Quiet obviously plays like a big role.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the guy eating popcorn in A Quiet.
Dylan
movie,
was so mad at
Quiet
me
Place.
because I kept screaming in the theater.
You were the
And he
loudest
was
person
just like,
in the theater.
"Shut up! It's scary. What do you want me to do?"
Yeah, for
These
sure.
are honest reactions.
I don't think it was just. I think you were like yelling at the screen. It wasn't
Yeah.
just screams. It was
I
like
tend
you being.
to get like really hyped up when like people are doing stupid shit in
Of
horror
course.
Oh no,
movies.
that's
Yeah.
and that
I'm
is
like,
perfectly
what are you doing? Don't
understandable.
open that door. Don't do it.
Yeah.
He Jones like,
There's
shut up.
no movie if they don't.
I know. I know.
Sure.
You gotta
And that's
open
part
that
of the
door.
problem. That's why I should just keep my mouth shut.
I think in
Rough.
general, it's it's cool. I like it. But when everybody's doing it, but if it's just
Yeah.
one person doing it, then I just hate them. You know what I mean?
I remember
that
when I
night it
saw
was
the
me.
new War of the Worlds when it came out, like, what was that,
The Tom
15
Cruise
years
one?
ago or something?
Yeah.
There was this guy behind me that just, every time there was action, which was the whole movie, he was just like, damn! Damn! Like, every time
Great.
That's
anything
great.
happened.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what would you give it?
I really I enjoyed it. I think it was effective. It wouldn't how they handled like the actual the creatures or where it was interesting.
It was unique.
And,
I hadn't
yeah.
seen that before.
Yeah, and no, I mean small spoiler. They never really actually say where the creatures are coming. I really enjoyed that. They just kind of give you like the overview of what's going on. And,
Yeah.
and as a I'm pretty sure it's his directorial debut.
I think
John
for
like a feature.
a feature. I think
He
it's his
might
first
have done
feature.
some
Well, then
TV
that's
or
a
something,
pretty
so-
big success.
Yeah,
Very,
no, he did,
very.
and I said it was interesting. It was an interesting pick. I guess it was based on a book,
Mm-hmm.
but it was an interesting pick for him. Very effective. He's got a writing credit, which I would like to see what the actual script looks like.
Right.
because it's so much.
Well, I think it was originally written by these brothers or something. It was two dudes, and then he
Oh.
picked it up at like a film festival or
Right,
something,
right,
and then he's
right.
like, "Hey, let me
And
make
he's
this."
got a,
Yeah.
he's got a slide little. I was like, he might have just he
Right.
added a few lines and be like, okay, I'm a writer now.
Right. Another comedy drama actor. We know him from The Office,
Right.
Yeah.
but doing a film outside of
That's like
that.
horror.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
well, I
You
think
know?
he's doing a horror movie, but I think the big thing for him is he's stepping into director's chair for it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I think that's something, and I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well paced, and I enjoyed his work
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that he did, and he acted in it. Of course, that's very hard.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah.
Acting
Yeah,
and directing.
they'd had the
hard
daughter in there was actually deaf.
The
Yeah.
girl she was
Yeah, she was actually deaf.
Okay, yeah, that
which was
cool.
cool.
That's
Yes,
cool.
that they got somebody there to kind of play the part of a deaf person.
Right.
And what else was I going to say about
Well,
this?
Emily Blunt and John Krasinski are actually married.
Right.
in
Yep.
real
Is that
life.
right? I had no idea.
So
Nice.
yeah, so I think that was interesting for them to play.
A
their
married couple.
play a
It
married
was
couple, and
good.
they
Yeah.
are
Oh,
a married
yeah.
couple.
I would say all
Yeah.
the kids were good, and those two were good.
Yeah.
Well, they're good anyway. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that that was actually one of their inspirations for doing the movie together. Was because they had just had a kid in real life, and so they
Yeah.
said their
Oh, wow.
original intention of this film was to make it like like the struggles of family,
Sure.
as opposed to a horror film, and it kind of just turned into that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, it was very
Well,
effective.
struggles with family.
Very effective.
Yeah.
Still
So
pretty
not
Pretty horrific.
struggling.
Pretty horrific.
Very horrific.
Yep.
Just family in
Still
general.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Sure.
I watched not all but some of the season of Luke Cage season 2.
Oh.
Which I really, really enjoyed. And I do think that there are some parts where it's slower than the first season. Like the first season felt really, really fast paced and like a lot of action. The second season, there are some parts where I'm kind of bored. But overall, I would say really good, excellent music always. And I think the main actor is great. And they have some crossover stuff with other characters from some other Netflix shows and
The Netflix universe.
yep, the Netflix Marvel universe. But it's really cool.
There's no kids
so-
from Stranger Things.
No,
Damn
I wish.
One of these days,
I'm
Netflix
talking
will do
about
that.
specifically
Yeah,
the
totally.
Marvel
The Netflix.
shows.
The
yeah.
NC,
Netflix
NCU.
universe.
Yeah.
I say we write that script.
Yeah,
There
but
you go.
it's good. They have a interesting bad guy. He's like
That's cool.
very different than the bad guy they had in the first season.
Yeah.
And then we get to see Misty Knight kind of like come into her own, which is my favorite part. So
Nice.
watch so you can find out.
Are they
More.
trying to? Are they doing the same thing with like the movies? Like, is there a specific place that like season 2 sits in their timeline? Because there's like the Defenders and there's
yeah.
Jessica Jones. Does all that related, or is that?
It's all related, and I don't know exactly how they've worked that out yet because I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
watched Defenders yet.
right.
But I'm kind of waiting for Dylan, but I feel like it's like a lost cause because he hasn't watched like 5 of the shows.
Too many. There's too many. Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and like finish up.
I'll
and
just
watch
binge
it.
Iron Fist and then I'll go straight into
Yeah.
Defenders.
Oh god, that's the worst one.
No.
Don't do it. Yeah, so I'm not even gonna watch Iron Fist. I'm just gonna
Right.
finish watching Daredevil, Luke Cage, and then go straight to Defenders. So I'll let you know what the timeline kind of is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it seems like maybe season 2 is after Defenders.
Okay.
Oh,
Right on.
okay.
Perhaps.
Makes
Right.
sense.
Don't know yet.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're doing it by release.
I think they might be. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, really cool.
Cool. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Sure.
I saw Superfly this week.
Ah.
The
It
remake.
was so bad.
Oh wow.
It was
Damn it.
so bad.
Had you seen the original?
No, I actually
Okay.
didn't know anything about it.
Nice.
I will probably watch the original
Do it.
now. I mean, it was so bad that I guess it was kind of fun. Like
Okay,
because
okay.
in the sense of like, well, you could
watching a
laugh
bad
at it. It
movie,
was
right,
just
right,
really
right.
bad. Well, first of all, it's produced by Future, and
Okay.
so you can. I don't know. That paints a scene. I guess. I feel like I don't know. Like one of the. Well, I don't want to. Not that it's worth spoiling, but I don't know. It was bad. But it was me and a friend went and or a friend and I. Damn
Get
it!
that straight.
Come on.
Judging.
It's in there. You got it. You got it in there.
Yeah, we were the only ones in the theater, so we got to make fun of
Wow.
it all we wanted along the way. It was good.
That's cool.
Good in the sense of how bad it was.
You got to.
It was really bad. I haven't seen a movie that bad in a long
Wow.
time.
Not
It was
like-
bad.
like
Well,
not
we
even.
saw the Rotten Tomato scores.
It was
were
like
wretched.
13%.
It's just like I felt like it was so like it like exploits the fuck out of stereotypes. It was so bad.
I
Like
think 50
it
Cent
really
said
pushes
in a-
against what we're all trying to do
Trying to do here.
in
Yeah.
society.
Gives a new meaning to
We talked about that,
exploitation
how-
films.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that
It was
way.
bad.
Yeah.
We talked
Yeah.
about how that could have been that was a risk they were taking.
Yes,
Yeah.
specifically.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's like this white lady cop in it, and she's doing cocaine. So
Sounds interesting.
All right.
it was. I guess it's worth if like I have a movie pass. Otherwise, I wouldn't see it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
So
that's entirely
don't
fair.
spend money on it. But if you want something to make fun of,
Yeah. No,
go
that's
for
fair.
it.
Luke Cage is probably a better blaxploitation than that. I would
It was
think.
bad.
Like more true to.
I was gonna
that
say it
genre.
would probably be a more even-handed
Yeah.
portrayal, and
I
it
would
has
think.
fucking superheroes.
Yeah, I
in
know.
it.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Fine. All right. I'll go watch it. I guess. Don't
Just to
force
make
me.
fun of it. That's it.
Yeah. I'll go next. I guess I will talk about kind of just documentary stuff in general. So it's like little small things. So it's not like I've just been watching them throughout the week. My friend, shout out to Kelsey for showing me some Vice. I think it was some Vice documentaries. Vice has done a lot, but specifically, I've been watching this one white dude like fake his way into, and I'm pretty sure it was Vice, fake his way into being number one at things. And so that, and then the Netflix original Explained, which is by Vox, I believe.
Yeah.
And that one's really good. It's only 15-minute segments. Jessica and I have watched all these together. So the Vox mini docs are they did K-pop. They've done not video games, esports. What else have they done, Jess?
Like cultural, like socio-cultural kind of like inequality or stratification, I think.
They did they did polyamorism.
Polyamory.
Amory.
They did monogamy.
Well, yeah, they basically are
talked
comparing
about-
the two. Yeah.
That one was really good.
That was my favorite episode. And then again, I'll go back to the Vice one. It's this guy. I'll kind of show you the two little things that he did. One of them, he was he found some pants at like a local bazaar. Maybe that's not the right word.
In Britain, yeah, they call them bazaars out there. It's not the same.
Yeah, it was in
like,
London,
like a flea market.
It was a flea market in London, and they're just these knockoff brands that are no names. And he fakes his way into being a fashion designer, and he gets into Paris Fashion Week. And so it's all about the development of how he got from picking up those pants to becoming a fashion designer at Paris Fashion Week.
Becoming the pants.
Is it the same guy that did he made the restaurant? And
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that's the other one I was going to
I've
say.
seen that one.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that
I
one's
didn't know he
so
was
good.
like.
Yeah, he kind of
like-
does these things.
He's like, oh, okay, that's.
And
his
so the
thing.
restaurant
Wow.
one's super
And it was,
interesting.
like, highly rated. Or, like,
Oh
the
yeah,
most
no, he got
exclusive restaurant.
So,
like a,
what
he
was
got, like, one of
the,
the best like Yelp reviews or something.
It was a Yelp.
Like
No,
a
it was
5-star.
TripAdvisor.
Yeah,
Or
so he
TripAdvisor.
basically he figured out how to trip up TripAdvisor by becoming the #1 restaurant in London, and it was a restaurant that never existed. And so what he did was to get the ball rolling, he got his friends to do reviews on this restaurant, and it just kind of snowballed into all these food critics and food bloggers like, I need to come to your restaurant, I need to come to your restaurant. And he, at the end of the show, he turns his backyard into a restaurant and serves frozen foods.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, ooh, it's so
And he just
good.
garnishes it with
All
like
about
pretty
perspective,
flowers and
perception.
stuff, and people
Oh,
are
nice.
like, oh, "This is amazing."
Yeah,
And
it's
he totally did the where when he like put the number out, and then when people called, they're like, no, we're booked, sorry. Like, he did the whole like hyped it up.
Yeah.
for like
Isn't
months
it
and months.
amazing how
Yeah.
things like
That's
it's
crazy,
just all
yeah.
on how you frame it.
And
That
just-
really
and
is.
it worked.
Can you
Everyone was like,
sell?
"Oh my god, I gotta get it!" When you could get me in?
It reminded me of a not funny Nathan For You. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen Nathan Fielder's Nathan For You,
love
it's
that.
maybe
Starbucks.
it might be like the best comedy show on television. It's
It's
on
really
Comedy
funny.
Central,
Yeah.
and it's that but not funny.
But still good.
But still like interesting to see how you
because
can
you're like, how did
dupe
this
the
guy
system.
do this?
Yeah.
Nice.
But honestly,
What have I been
Vox's
doing?
Yeah, I know.
Vox's original Explained, they're 15 minutes a piece, and they're so well done.
On Netflix.
So well done.
Yeah.
Go watch
I'm
that on
gonna check
Netflix.
that out.
It's
Yeah.
it's actually really funny that you mention that,
Yeah.
because the thing that I watched was the Vice documentary "Boots and Braces Don't Make a Racist."
Ah, so tell us about it.
And so it's the story of these youngsters living in urban England and just growing up with an embracer of the skinhead culture, which basically at its nascence was something that embraced the West Indian, and Jamaican immigrant cultures, brought in a lot of the music because they were super into like reggae and ska and
That was
dance hall
like,
music.
first wave ska.
Yeah, precisely. The very first wave. And yeah, it was just showing that a lot of these cats, it was like seeing these like glaring British youth with shaved heads wearing like thin suspenders and combat boots and shit who were like, black people are awesome, just like who weren't like, oh yeah, they were
So
like
it was not anything like what it is
the
today.
complete opposite. Well, and
Wow.
the thing is, that's what pissed them off
That's
because
the movie,
they were
yeah.
like, yeah, we're the originals. Like everybody who has this like oi boy bullshit going on, like that is a corruption that is wrong. You know, it came up in like the 80s and it fucking sucks. And it's talking about the roots of the music and
Right.
these guys like all having shit because like people didn't get it. Like they're like they all wear this like a tattoo that looks like suspect. It's two crossed hammers, sort of like in Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Okay.
You know, two crossed hammers with like enwreathed with a wreath of leaves. And like if you don't get it, like it's a support of the working class tattoo. Where
I saw that. The he's got is that the one he's got a Trojan.
yeah,
Like
for
he's got
Trojan
a,
Records.
but it's for Trojan Records, not like Trojan.
Like
you
because
know.
a Trojan helmet, you would think also it was a lot of those like Molon Labe like gun crazy dudes, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, in this case, it was support of like a reggae label.
Yeah, Trojan
you know?
Records. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and and it's funny because they look like they're like they are like hard ass kids who are like gonna go kick somebody's ass with no provocation. It was like, no, we like music, we like dancing, we all like going out and having a good time, and we're totally we embrace other cultures and it's super rad. And everybody who isn't is fucked up and wrong. And it was just like that's cool. And the problem, it was like their families having to get used to that because that's all they understood of
Sure,
it.
right.
It's like you're wearing fucking braces, just like suspenders and combat boots with your shit rolled up in white laces. It was just like, how are you not white power? And they're like, completely by not being white powered.
Right,
It was
right.
like we had this look, they co-opted it, and it was just like, and now we catch shit for it where it was like we were the ones who were doing it first, we were the ones who were doing it right. We have nothing to do with like this, white nationalism bullshit and stuff. And yeah, it was like they honestly were a lot less indignant about it than I am.
Sure.
But yeah, because they all seemed like, were they not like the most relaxed
Yeah,
kids?
they were just super chill.
Yeah, they look like they would they look like they're ready to like fight, but they're just like, nope, we all hug each other and we all
Yeah,
like to
that's nice.
get
Dance.
down and have a good time.
Got
And
brass
yeah,
knuckles on, but I'm just gonna
And
hug
they were
you.
super. It just
Just
feels
click
good against
them
my
together.
skin.
Yeah.
yeah,
Helps keep
exactly.
me
They
cool.
they click their like brass knuckles together rhythmically. They're like pressure
It's
drop.
nothing but
oh,
an
pressure-
instrument.
Yeah,
So you're
Making
telling me
more
you're gonna
music.
bring the style back? Is that what you're saying?
I you know what I.
Sorry, it's too late.
Yeah, not nowadays. I'm afraid the time is entirely wrong for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, it was a really interesting, eye-opening documentary, especially to see like that, and then the further extension of like the Sharps, Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice, and like a lot of these cats were like, yeah, like give us our fucking culture back, and it was just really cool to see the comparison, the contrasts between them and just like racist skinheads who just like adopted it because it was a more threatening look, and it was just like.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and how dismaying must that be to come from like this racially, culturally inclusive style and then like get it co-opted as like symbols of hate and shit,
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, that's got to be bullshit. But yeah, they were super cool and just trying to get by as like working class youth in England, and they were really neat. Like they were, they were very intelligent, insightful, like gentle souls, and it was just like
That's like punks, you
I was
know?
just saying,
Yeah,
no, it reminded me
exactly.
a lot of punks
Yeah.
Punk
when I
movement.
saw, yeah,
Yeah.
the-
yeah.
They had the best sign at the Families Belong Together rally this weekend.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
It was like so awesome. It was like this guy who was like a punk guy with a huge mohawk, like attacking Trump, and Trump was like pissing on something. I don't know.
Child.
I was gonna say
Probably on a
that's-
child or something. Yeah, but
hilarious.
they were they're like super inclusive of everybody.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it
Oh,
reminds
yeah.
me of that a lot.
Close to tears.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's been these cool things, and then it's like assholes are like, I like the way that looks, that's ours now.
Right.
And it's like, what?
And they're like, I'm going to
No.
be violent now
Yeah.
because this looks threatening.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's not really what it was meant to do.
No, not at all.
Right.
It stands in violation of the spirit of everything that it was about
Right.
originally.
I guess a
Yeah.
lot of things are taken like that, though.
Yeah.
Like good things, and then they're taken and
Co-opted.
made bad.
Co-opted
Yep.
in a bad way.
Definitely.
Bleh.
Ruin it for everybody.
But yeah. Otherwise, it's a compelling watch. It's quick.
What is it called again? I
It's
didn't-
called "Boots and Braces Don't Make a Racist," because that's one of their slogans.
Word.
And it was just like, we look like this, and it was like, please don't get it the wrong way. But again, it's like because that is the thing that is more like culturally like recognized is just Nazi skinheads who have that look. And it was like, for the ones who aren't, like, unless you see like their tattoos or something, you can't really tell, you know.
Sure.
But again, it was judging people by the content of their character, you know?
Right.
I
Which is
mean,
what
but if oh right, never mind.
Yeah, and that's what we're about here at Screen Source.
She was gonna say the opposite.
I was gonna say the
It
opposite.
just reminds me of so many things. Like, it reminds me of hip hop too, because hip hop, same thing. Like,
Yep.
totally
Yeah.
turned into this like violent culture, but it was not meant for that at all.
Right.
Yeah, it was
And
not
the
meant to
exact
sell.
opposite.
Yeah, sell records through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
No,
anyway.
I was gonna say something about pillowcases, and I couldn't figure out how to put it in there.
Everybody,
It was bad.
I hope you have nice pillowcases.
Well, or it's like how there
It's a
were
good
those
thing it's
religious orders that had those high peaked hoods, you know, back in the day that
Yeah.
looked like the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They had those a lot back in the
Yeah.
day, and then it became like a clan thing. Although it's not as though with a lot of the more organized religious stuff anyway.
Sure,
that
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so
They were
great.
a religious
Witch
order in
stuff.
some sense.
Yeah,
Satanic.
I suppose so. Anyway, social commentary aside.
Fun, yeah. But yeah, Vox, their editing is very good. They have the best intros to any docs I've ever seen. Like they intro it like on the
docs.
level of like it reminds me a lot of how Mr. Robot does the intros to their show. It's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
some of the best. You have to watch to see it, to get
Fair.
it, et cetera, et cetera. Is that all of us? Do we all do one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Cool. Anyways, that was what are you watching? So we have a
Yeah.
required viewing every week, and Stan
Oh,
chose the last
yeah.
one. What is that?
Cool.
Did you choose the last one?
no, that was me.
That was you. Sorry. Yeah.
I was
You
like,
weren't
I
here
knew
last
he
week.
wasn't here.
Yeah.
He
so what-
called in.
Yes.
So why did you choose Incredibles 2?
Well, because I knew everybody was going to have a good time watching it.
All right.
Yeah.
Like that was one that I knew was going to be such a because we've waited 14 years. Like the first Incredibles was one of the best damn superhero movies that was out there. I was super jazzed by it. This one just without getting into it just yet.
We will spoil this one.
Yeah.
Very cool.
This was one of the best action movies I've seen in like a decade.
Wow.
You know, just there was so much about it that I liked. There was so much
Yeah.
perspective. There was, you know, there was
story's good.
Oh yeah, very much
Yeah.
so. And then there was so many misleading things. Except one thing that I picked up that I figured out
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is a kids movie.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's got a lot of heavy like themes in it.
Yeah.
Very heavy. It
I
was so
it's-
political.
yeah,
I
was
was like,
this is supposed to be like directly correlating to like this whole immigration thing that's happening right
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
Where it's like nobody's illegal and like trying to be activists for it, and it was just
I think that's
couldn't believe
interesting.
how-
And the lady with the southern accent is trying to fuck it up for
I know,
everyone.
right?
seriously.
It's like, yeah, finally.
The girl that we thought was ScarJo the whole time.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was Catherine Keener.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because that speaks to an audience that doesn't probably get to pay attention to these things a lot. Kids, they're taking their kids to the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's this politically charged topic that's just
Yeah.
put out there.
Yep.
I think that's great.
Oh yeah.
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 Especially because it's framed within a narrative that's easy to understand.
Yeah.
You know, and it was again something
Which is
that-
almost kind of sad, but whatever.
Yeah.
We'll meet America where it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's that. I mean, there's a long tradition of that.
Yeah.
Like think about like the Planet of the Apes movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially like the later ones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of social and at the time there's a lot of civil unrest, going on with with riots in L.A. and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Back in the like 60s, and so it was some of that was like a sort of allegory for what was happening.
Sure.
Yeah.
The different with so I mean like I dig that finding that story to tell in this other framework that
Yeah.
everyone's familiar with.
I,
Yeah.
in some ways, didn't dig that, as you put. Not that was a dig. Just because we've seen in superhero films a lot, X-Men probably being the most prominent,
Yeah.
that
yeah.
has gone over this theme.
It was an allegory from the beginning.
Right. We're doing this again with another original film that looks like X-Men. Do you remember we did actually a reaction to this video or to this movie? I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah,
You guys know what I'm talking about? It looks X-Men-ish. Comes out, I think, end of summer. Dark Minds. That sounds right. It was something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's based off of a book.
Right.
But we've seen this in superhero stories before. In other words, the superheroes are being marginalized because they're superheroes.
Right.
It was in the Civil War film
Yeah.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the UN. And is that Civil War?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was Civil
yeah.
War.
And just I don't know, it's a reoccurring theme. They kind of took that theme and ran with it. They added a kind of a cool villain on top of that, I think.
Yeah.
I like the way this villain looked.
He was scary. If I was a child, I would have been afraid.
terrified.
He was
like,
scary.
dang, he is
That scene when
fight
she's like
scene,
trying
yeah.
to sneak up on him, it was pretty scary.
And that was when you were talking about action. That was my favorite fight scene, action scene in
yeah.
that movie. Is
It was good.
when they give you the warning about the seizures.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I was like, I'm gonna find out today.
when you see her hand come up underneath the thing to start pulling the door, and
Oh,
you just
yeah.
see the villain just standing there staring at it
Yeah, it was
silently. And then she
creepy,
opens the
man.
door, nothing's there, and it was just like, oh shit. Yeah.
Although with it being, side note, with it being a kids movie, like that would be a terrible way to find out that your child does have epilepsy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
Lord.
because that was super jarring. I was just like,
That's like
oh,
nightmare fuel.
your
Yeah.
kid has
Yeah.
never had peanuts before, and we're just gonna
Yeah.
just go to a peanut factory and just find
And
out.
note
Everybody
to
wants
self,
sandwiches.
Do not bring your infant to a
No,
movie.
what the hell,
Please don't.
man? There
or
was
or do the
someone-
Saturday morning ones.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, where
right.
everybody brings their babies, or for like the accessible ones that we discussed last time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like I mean, Jack stole the show. He was probably the best
Yeah.
character.
Jack Jack
I
was
want to
the
talk.
best.
I want to talk
However,
about that.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
want to hear another baby
Right.
repeating everything Jack saying the entire movie.
There were a
because
couple
that's
of
what happened to
moments where
us.
I couldn't tell if it
Yeah.
was the movie or the baby
Yeah, because I
next
saw
to me.
close to midnight last night, and there were babies in the
Oh,
audience.
parents
and it was
suck.
like,
Parents
really?
suck.
It's like, come
Really?
on, guys, keep your babies at home. Like, I get
Seriously.
it. Like, you want to go see a movie, but like,
Get a
yeah,
babysitter.
at least toddlers are fine because
Yeah.
they, you
Sometimes.
know, are
Did you take your kids, Dan?
I didn't see this one.
Oh, you did. Oh, yeah. I
but
forgot.
like babies, like infants, that's
Yeah.
a different thing. Like
Yeah.
toddlers,
Yeah.
fine, but no, yeah.
So Jack.
Well, I'm just curious what you guys think the maybe deeper meaning of him having all these powers.
Well, he was because it's an allegory for the Fantastic
question.
Four, and he was the Franklin Richards of the group.
Oh,
And Franklin
okay.
Richards was the child who basically becomes like a god.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love so much that
yeah.
it's the most innocent that
Yeah.
has this kind
Yeah.
of
Well,
power.
and it's like-
That's what I guess is so charming about it.
They left out one of his powers from the first movie, where he can turn into like a huge baby made of metal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
I was
Syndrome
wondering about
almost
that
drops
because
him.
I was like, I don't remember
Yeah.
any of these from because they at the end of the first one they
Yeah, because he
has a
turns
little
into
power.
all that shit while Syndrome is trying to kidnap him.
Right.
Because he turns into like the demon baby
I
that
love
beats
Jack
his
Jack.
ass. He turns into fire. He's shooting lasers and stuff. And
Yeah.
but then he turns into the metal baby and he like plunges out of the sky for a second
Yeah.
before he manages to get him back up in the air.
I wonder how many more powers he probably has.
It's crazy.
There's the short
There's not even one yet.
from the first one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's Jack Jack.
Oh,
Attack.
Jack Attack. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's about it's about
babies-
him and the babysitter.
That raccoon
that.
scene though.
Oh, the
the
raccoon
raccoon
scene.
Yes.
was amazing.
That was
I was
hilarious.
Just dying. Oh
I also
my
liked
God.
him with the lady that makes all their suits.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
Oh,
I love how
that
they had that
lady.
The
special
flame
bond.
retardant.
Oh yeah, with
foam.
the lavender.
He's
and,
just-
what was it?
he's just-
Lavender
um,
and like grape flavored.
and it's
foam.
edible.
Yeah.
And he's just so
It is edible,
easily
Daddy.
placated.
know.
Yeah.
It's just he's
Cookie.
so.
Well, the
I don't
cookie,
know.
cookie. Well, it's like that.
I love how he's not scared of anything
Yeah.
either.
Well, as a
Also.
like, I would think that from a parent's perspective, how nightmarish would that be to have
Oh
your
my
child
God.
disappear and you hear it calling for you from another dimension
I know.
that is
Yeah.
literally impossible for you
What's
to
with
reach.
that power? We can hear him from another dimension.
Yeah, he can phase out of fucking existence, and he has to be. Well, you see it in the trailer. He's like cookie,
Yeah.
until he can like
think
triangulate where
this
his
is gonna
fucking child is from the fourth dimension. Pop it out, give him a cookie, and hope he doesn't do it again.
I want to see. I think there should be more Jack Jack, but
Oh,
they
yeah.
might overkill it if they tried to make a story of his
Yeah.
own. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It might be overkill, but yeah, because he was in like
Maybe a
half
short.
the movie.
Well, yeah.
I just loved him so
But
much.
he was the
No.
best part.
He's
of the
not
movie.
scared, but he's still adorable and like innocent, but also has that fierceness.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Did you guys like the dad's arc in the film?
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I was telling Dylan that it's the voice of Craig T. Nelson, who is the dad also on Parenthood, and I think there are a lot of kind of like similarities between the two characters because they both are kind of like jealous of their wife having success, and they're both just trying to be a good dad, but they're kind of struggling, and I just thought it was really interesting, like just the different similarities
Yeah.
between the two characters.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing that really bothered me is the fact that Craig T. Nelson is old, and I could hear, because I've been a home health care provider for, since 2010, he had denture lisp. And I could not unhear that the entire movie. Like you could tell they were like flopping around in his mouth a little bit while he was delivering his lines.
I could not hear that at all.
I didn't hear it either.
Yeah.
Did the woman that played his wife have denture lisp, or she just
because she has
talks
that's
like
just
that?
her voice. I
She's
think.
still really pretty. Yeah, she's getting up there, but she's like still younger than he is.
Yeah.
Well, and I was also going to say Elastigirl, kind of OP in this movie. She was
she's
so ultimately awesome and competent, and just like you could see like all the espionage shit going on from what she had, especially because they gave her the Spider-Man power. Of being able to, pull herself back, launch herself through the air, and use the gliding thing. So it's like she can fly. She can fucking fly.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I love that. All of the different applications they showed for her powers, like just really letting her cut loose as like the hero of this story.
Yeah.
But with Mr. Incredible, it was cool because then it was also the same arc because they didn't explore this in a lot of other superhero movies. What that's like, kind of just trying to rein things in, especially when you have certain things to deal with that powers are not enough for.
Right.
Especially for what she would have had to, that Elastigirl would have had to do the entire time, taking care of superpowered children while he's out heroing that shit up.
Right.
Right.
I think they were trying to show that superhero powers aren't everything.
Yeah.
And
when the new math is too hard.
I loved that. I did like that. Because why did they change
And
math?
that women take on multiple roles all the time, and it's really, really fucking hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Elastigirl reminded me of my mom because there were parts where she was like just kicking ass, but then the kids were calling her and going like, "Mom, I can't find my shoes."
I love that motorcycle
like,
part.
Look under your bed. I'll talk to you later. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm just gonna wait for Mom to come home to help me with my math because you can't really help me, Dad. And he's like, "What?
Right.
I'm just as good as she is."
And then it turns out it's like fucking impossible.
Right.
I think
it's
his
true.
Yeah.
I used to wait for my mom to get home for like a lot of stuff.
Me too.
And my
My
mom worked
dad.
so hard, and I would call her and bug her so much, and my brother would too. We'd be like, "Mom, we can't find this. We can't do this," and like she'd just be like, "Just ask your dad to help. Like I can't come home right now.
Nah,
I'm
dads
working."
Dad doesn't know anything.
Yeah,
No, it's-
it's like, he
He's
doesn't
just
know.
gonna
No
ask
offense,
you.
That's funny. I was like, yeah, no, because that's pretty accurate. I can't. I'm already gonna like be out of my son's like academic range soon. He's in fourth grade.
That's scary.
He's gonna pass me up. pretty soon.
I have heard like they've changed completely the way they do math, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought the whole idea behind
love-
math is that it's pretty concrete.
No,
that
no.
math is math.
It's real different now.
Well, it's
Yeah.
just how you
Crazy.
learn it, really.
Yeah,
is the only
they
difference.
changed. Yeah, they changed how you
Right.
think
Yeah.
about it.
I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
like.
This thing with your
Interesting.
fingers that you do.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I
Like,
see
that's
kids
kinda
doing that.
cool.
I like that he was able to
know.
actually have growth as a character in the arc.
That's why I liked his arc. Yeah.
He did seem like an anchor to reality, so to speak. I
Yeah.
guess in the movie.
Sure. Yeah. And he's like
the
super
tangibly
tired.
And then he
relatable.
actually becomes an anchor at the end. Too.
And
Yeah.
he does.
Save the
See?
day.
Oh.
Also, the one
Yeah.
thing is from the opening scene, that like from the end of the movie, the first one to the opening scene, it was like also, and I'm sorry, Stan, for the spoiler here, the fucking Underminer gets away.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
and
completely,
no
it's
one ever
never
talks
addressed
about-
ever
yeah.
again.
What the hell?
And he was
Where'd
such
he
a
go?
crazy, like he seemed like such a hugely threatening villain. I'm sorry if I spat on you there,
you didn't.
but he's like the, because if they were the Fantastic Four, he's the Mole Man. And he
Yeah.
had that crazy thing, and he had like a self-destructing, like his like grinding
It
drill
looked like the
ship.
mine people
Yeah.
from Labyrinth.
Yeah,
You know,
and then he-
Yeah.
the drill thing.
And then he had like
He's
his
just
tiny.
gone.
Yeah, and then it was like, no, he got away, and with like all the money too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I love
he-
how the cops were like, you shouldn't have done
You
anything.
shouldn't have done anything.
Yeah, we were insured, and it was like that's it. Like he
I
knows
loved
insurance
that.
too.
It was just so
That's
modern
so
America. Like,
real though. Like for like the cops really don't want us to do anything. Like
Yeah.
they don't want us to do shit.
there's too many lawsuits.
They're too busy
for
shooting
everything.
black people. Let's be honest.
Oh, and then there's that too.
Yeah, that didn't happen
the
in this
cops
movie. Just to be
murked
clear.
him at the beginning of the movie.
Was there only one black person in this movie though?
Maybe.
I think there might have
yeah.
only
no.
been.
No, there were those other superheroes too,
Yeah. Oh,
especially like Crusher. Was because he was voiced by Phil
Oh,
Lamar.
did anyone notice that the little scene with the Oh wait, I'm thinking of a trailer. Never mind. That was separate.
Okay.
I did
It was-
like. I like the other superheroes, the Russian guy,
Yeah, I liked
and
Void. I want to know.
Void is so
I
cool.
didn't like Void.
I liked
Something.
her. She was
made-
very, like-
something was missing.
kind of like ditzy.
Ah.
She was ditzy. I get it. I got it. Who do you guys know who did her voice?
I looked it up specifically and I saw it in the thing. I totally forgot, but it's somebody.
so
You know, it was
curious.
like what's her name? Violet was played by Sarah Vowell, the author.
Yeah.
You know, who normally doesn't do a lot of voiceover work.
Violet the daughter.
I liked
Yeah.
Violet.
Violet might have been my second favorite character. I
I liked her more in this one than the first one.
Yeah.
I
she-
love her like angsty teenager. Like,
But it wasn't
sarcasm,
over the
you know?
top.
No, and it was like
Yeah.
Dash was extra infuriating through the entire thing too, and it was like, dude,
God.
put all the fucking remotes down.
Yeah.
Please stop touching remotes.
Oh, he was great.
that's a kid that age.
Yep.
I really like
Especially a little
Violet
boy with
walking.
superpowers.
Violet walking into the kitchen like.
Oh, yeah,
I was gonna say
invisible.
nude, but invisible is a better word.
To get ice cream.
Good ice cream.
Just sobbing invisibly.
so good.
So
I love that.
I also liked how the family. This was weird, but I thought it was cool that the family was like supportive of her first crush. You know,
Yeah,
because that's an awkward topic at that age, and a lot of times parents are resistant of that. So I don't know. I think that was a cool
And
perspective.
like the very end of the movie scene where they were just like, yeah, we'll be around, you know, we'll be on the other side of the theater, you know, wink. And then she was like, you will leave us alone.
Yeah.
Like, you will leave us here
and then
you
she
will
makes
go somewhere else.
the decision to go help out with the family.
Family.
Instead. Yeah.
Which is another thing. I liked that the kids saved the day because
Yes, where they were
Kids
like,
are-
you came for us?
yeah, like kids are just these added things in families. People like adults forget that like what it's like to be a kid and how
how
it's
important
very-
they are to
they're very important.
keeping the farm tilled.
You're not
Yeah.
exactly like how are you going to have a clean house if you don't have kids to do it?
Yep, that's
Yep, it was great. I loved the house. And
Oh
just-
in
yeah,
the car.
The Incredibile
I
was
love
so
that.
cool. Like that was just it's something for them to bring in, especially because it was from another story completely. It could
Yeah.
have had nothing to do with the movie.
it
And
felt alive.
and it kind of saved the day too. Yeah, just being able to get them where they were, but it was like seeing all like especially like the Void fight
Yeah.
with Violet seeing all
Oh,
of
yeah.
the offensive capabilities of her stuff, but then like seeing Void's powers too, it was just like that was super cool. Being able to portal out and portal back inside of the force field
Yeah.
and
That
shit,
was cool.
and like because like they had weirdly complementary powers because their fight was very much like a dance.
That was
Yeah.
a cool
You know?
power.
It was good.
Yeah.
And I like that like she didn't have a full grasp of it either too.
Right.
She wasn't just this
She's, like,
super
trying.
superhero.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, but like her trying to figure the stuff out, especially like the airplane thing,
Yeah.
where they would keep falling off, and she's like, "Shit," and would like
Trying to
throw
get
up
it
the
to the right
portal and
place.
pop them back up on
Like
it. and,
playing pinball.
oh my god, over and over, especially
Yeah.
because it was this young person who was not confident
Sure.
in what they could do. They like
Yeah.
for low level like tricks rather than like full on applications of the power. It was badass. And then as she kind of started to become more powerful, like when the crunch was on, especially for a character that could have been very minor.
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
But they
Because
kind
when
of
all of the other heroes were controlled,
she's growing on
like,
me now that we're
it was
the
great.
more we talk about it.
It was so funny. Some of the superpowers. That guy that had acid reflux, and he like just
Holy
got
shit.
lava.
And it was
I
all
love
this-
how all the other superheroes were kind of like misfit toys, though. I
There was the one guy,
so funny.
the guy with the electrical powers looked sleazy because he was just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he looked like a pedophile.
well, I thought they were all like mental
Weird.
cases
Oh,
who
they
had
for
been
sure.
given superpowers.
That guy.
How do you uncrush? Why would you want to uncrush?
that was so funny. He's like, have you ever unpunched something? Or whatever.
How do you unpunch a man?
That might have been one of the best lines.
Yeah, it was
Why
so
would I
cool
do
to see all because you didn't even see
why?
what everybody had to offer like in this because it was really neat because like part of the story obviously was that they were trying to get the super people like unbanned because they were working towards it, but it looked like everything was kind of failing, especially at the beginning because
Right.
what was his name? The agent who was their guy.
Oh, the guy played by Bob Odenkirk.
No. The Rick
Oh,
Dicker.
Rick
Yeah,
Dicker.
Rick
The
Dicker.
guy
Yes,
who's
yes. The original
the voice
agent.
The
of,
Man in
Dick
Black.
the voice of Mike from Breaking Bad and Better
Yeah.
Call Saul.
That was him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, and he was such a like a hangdog looking character, and all you
Yeah.
see is him like preparing for vacation because he can finally retire. and
Yeah.
shit. But yeah,
Onto the island of his nose.
yeah, because you saw like obviously at the end of the first movie, you know that John Ratzenberger is the Underminer.
Right.
Yeah, was doing this, and yeah, it's this huge like heist thing of them trying to stop him, and just like ultimately it's because of the crazy collateral damage, you know,
Right.
that's going on. Like without getting because the rest of it, all of like the action shit that they did in it was breathtaking.
was
It
good.
was edge
Really
of your
well done.
seat action.
Cool.
Yeah, and it was just like yeah. You will have a good time, my friend.
I think the heaviest and most important line of the movie was when I don't remember maybe it was that character, but he said that like the politicians just can't understand a good person wanting to do good things just because they're good.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, that might have been Odenkirk. I can't remember.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Because
That's such a state of, and everyone's afraid to be a good person just because.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like really empowering for the characters.
Yeah, because it was really cool because it always seemed like there was an ulterior motive with him. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
just rather than somebody whose parents like grew up like basically as philanthropists who believed in a golden age of superheroes.
Yeah.
Well, that
and I
was-
guess that's how it comes out in the sister.
Yeah.
In his sister, yeah. And you're made to believe that he's going to be the bad guy, I think.
Yeah.
So much seemed
And
like
he never.
it.
I was surprised. I was actually kind of shocked.
I was surprised they weren't in
Well,
it together.
Yeah.
It's as like the tech expert when they were talking about all this stuff with everything, I immediately had my suspicions.
Okay.
And then just like once you hear you are too good, you know, for that I was like, yep, got it, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
with the slapping on the goggles and shit.
It was cool to see a character that has that. It seems like he could be a villain, and then he's just. You're like, oh. By the end, you're like, oh, he's so cute.
He's actually really cool.
He's
Well,
really
and-
so
and then the
sweet,
fact
and
that
he's
there-
so square that it's like
that there's a
cool.
proxy supervillain.
Yeah.
Like throughout the entire
Right,
first
yes.
3/4 of the
Yeah.
movie.
doesn't even know what they're doing.
It was
Yeah,
a
they're
bad
just
white
hypnotized.
pizza man.
Well, it's like,
Yeah.
how good must the real screenslaver have been
Yeah.
to turn this guy, like, to hypnotize him into being such a badass?
Yeah.
Hey,
You know?
that's actually based off of like a real
Like, he got Manchurian candidated.
Yep.
candidate.
Yep.
That's based off like a real thing where a real like true crime story where these people got the pizza box, the pizza delivery man to do a bank heist.
Yeah, with the bomb around the neck.
Bomb,
Oh.
Wow.
yeah, the collar bomber. I don't know what they
Yeah,
called that.
the running
case.
man. Fucking, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's interesting. There was a good documentary that came out. It's on Netflix. Did somebody just say?
No, well, that's Evil Genius, but
Evil Genius, yes.
I want to see that.
Jesse Eisenberg movie.
Oh, okay. I didn't
yeah,
watch
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Loosely based it on.
Okay.
Yeah. Evil Genius, that's a good one. Make
Oh,
sure
the
to
one
watch
with
that.
Jesse Eisenberg, the evil. Oh yeah, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Yeah.
That's the one.
I think it's another win for Brad Bird, right? Brad Bird? Is
Yeah.
that-
Holy was Brad Bird?
Yes.
And he
Yes.
was Edna
Excellent.
again. Edna
Excellent.
mode. Oh
Yeah.
honestly,
Excellent.
they could make a movie about her.
I would love
Because
that.
she's
Yeah.
so funny and so charismatic and so good. Because there would never, because the Incredibles would be able to drop in all the fucking time, especially because of the exclusive contract thing at the end, you know. But
Yeah.
watching her put stuff together and watching like what happens with all of her works, especially because it could have like a lot of pathos. Watching like the heartache that must go through somebody whose job it is to keep superheroes alive with what she does for all of the failed ones, you know. Especially you
Right.
could call it No Capes. You know, because like she's such a good character. Brad Bird portrays
No
her
one ever
brilliantly.
thinks about how important the designer of the.
Superhero
Oh, yeah.
costumes.
Yeah. You don't even
They
think
have
about
to
that.
be like flame retardant. And
Yeah.
they have
Well,
to be this
and-
and that. They have to be
well,
And
stretched
for it to be something that
unlimitlessly.
helps,
Complement their powers.
Yeah.
Yes.
and protect them from their powers, like when they're kids. Like I was like, oh, she basically built a playpen for him.
Yeah.
And then like the crazy part too would be like, imagine like from the first movie how she would constantly be refining and upgrading her suits as Syndrome's robots were like killing superheroes. And like the race against time that must have been like, especially until she came up with these suits for the Incredibles in the first one, you know, that allowed them to ultimately survive and triumph.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
like those that's a huge story going on in the background.
She's a great
You know,
character. I love
yeah,
her.
Edna Mode, yeah, because she was definitely took like the assist for the for this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
She made her own layup.
Yeah,
Was that off? That
I
was-
don't know. I
don't
tried it
remember.
before.
she alley-ooped
It's
herself.
our own screen source.
Yeah, I don't know
Also-
if that was
Trademark
before or after.
Watching Jack make her face was one of the funniest
Oh
things.
my gosh, that
the
was
entire
amazing.
audience fucking cracked up,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
watching her eyes like bug out of her fucking
And I
head.
love how she had to see someone else like reflect her
Yep.
for her to like
it.
Well, she was like,
Because at
She's
first
like,
she was like, oh, it's an
fascinating.
affliction.
Yeah.
I haven't been afflicted with parenthood or something.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
then,
love
she's
that.
like,
she
I'll
sees-
take care of him.
Yeah.
I will take care of him, Robert.
All right, so
so
that
good.
was
Overall,
Incredibles
very
2.
good.
Oh man,
Yes.
awesome,
Yeah,
awesome,
really.
awesome, awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
we'll see you in another 14 years for Incredibles 3 review.
Oh,
Right.
God. Please don't wait that long.
Please don't.
Yeah, my guess is actually they'll probably move forward.
I don't want to go too quick
sooner
because
rather
there was
than later.
something I liked about that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, it's like-
took
Maybe it's
their
because I was
time.
so much younger when I mean,
Well, it's like,
was
isn't
it really
Samuel L.
15, 14
Jackson like
years?
70?
Yeah, it's half my life.
Yeah,
Like,
that
literally?
Dude, that dude
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
he doesn't
Exactly
age.
half my
No, he does not. But if they do 14 years, he's still
He's
gonna be
not
a grandpa.
around. Or he's not
Or
gonna be
none
around.
of them are going to be around.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. it
Archie
was-
Nelson's up there.
That's
He's in
true.
his 70s.
yeah,
5 years.
Holly Hunter's probably in her 60s.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. They
Catherine Keener's even up there.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. And it was,
So-
and it's all so good. I
Jack
don't want it
Jack
to have
would
to
be
be
fun.
new characters because the ones that we've got already are so
I
good.
know. We could have
that
another
world-
story of that world, but have like Violet and Jack
Dash,
Jack
yeah.
and Dash, and have
maybe
their,
Boyd.
them doing
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, Edna Mode will never die.
No.
that's the thing. She will just be like kind
She'll
of.
just create a suit that makes
Yeah.
you age backwards or something. You know.
I call it the Marilyn, darling.
I realized we didn't discuss this beforehand, but what's our next required viewing and who's choosing
Oh
it?
God. Well.
Yeah, well, our next
Are
show,
you gonna be here next?
she will not be here.
okay.
We're doing it on Thursdays.
Yeah.
You
Uh,
haven't chosen in a while.
I don't think I've chosen one. Yeah, because you chose Train to
I
Busan,
did Train to Busan.
and then you
I
chose
Life is a House.
Life
He
is a
chose
House.
Incredibles
Incredibles
2.
2.
Yes, so I will choose one by the end of this show.
Okay.
And if you're watching, I might cut this out and make it its own segmented thing. And if you're watching this, I will link the full show, and then you can find out what I
watch.
chose,
What-
what to watch on required viewing. But anyways, let's move on to our
Cliffhanger.
next segment called Last Villain Standing.
Oh shit.
So every week we do a last blank standing. This week it is last villains. So each of us are going to choose a villain to rid of or to nix, and then the last villain standing will be the best of all time according to the world.
Okay.
So how do we do this and what do we do? Who's going first? Who's Xing out?
Can you tell me who the person on the? I mean,
Yeah, you wanna
obviously,
take 'em all-
I
you wanna
know
read all-
Maggie.
read
Let's
across
go through
them?
all. I know half of them.
We've got
Or
from the top
four.
row from the left. We have the Xenomorph from the
from
Alien
Alien.
series. We have Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter. We've got Darth Vader. We've got the Joker from the left on the bottom row. We have the Witch King of Ingmar from Lord of the Rings, who was Sauron's chief
okay.
lieutenant.
Are you sure that- I think
or is that
that's
just
Sauron.
Sauron?
That's Sauron.
Okay. Oh yeah. So
got
the
the
Witch
ring.
King had the blank face, right?
got the
the
ring,
void
so-
face. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Sauron from Lord of the Rings, and then Magneto.
Okay. I didn't recognize Sauron for a second, but now I do.
Can I-
All right.
You want to
You
go
wanna go
first?
first?
I do. I'm gonna say the Lord of the Rings guy because
Sauron.
I'm sorry. I don't know enough about his character. I just don't like the way he
mean,
looks.
I get it, but
it was
also
that simple.
no.
I just feel like anything with a helmet is not scary. Except wait, Darth Vader's scary.
Magneto's scary as hell.
Never
I
mind.
mean-
I don't know. It just looks like a head shaper. So that's really all I'm coming in at a basic level. All right.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Are we gonna settle on it?
What's a head shape? Oh, what's a head shape?
Sometimes babies' heads, because
they
they're
get
so
cone
squishy,
heads.
they start to get like misshapen, and so they put these helmets on them for several weeks, months. I
And
don't
they
know.
look like that?
Yeah, basically.
You know that.
Oh
Parents
my
often
God.
decorate them.
That makes them look like
yeah.
fantasy supervillain.
I know that. I'm like, and
It's Jack Jack.
yeah, there. Some people decorate them.
What, like a wreath?
I had some friends that he just got his off and he had it for like 3 months or something, but they made it look like a Jedi helmet.
Wait, your
of
friend?
sort. A friend. Well, okay, their kid. All right, it was me. I wore a helmet for 3 months.
I lied. I did it, and I had no
The
problem.
only reason I don't, yeah.
I saw a guy who was doing that for the little helmets because they're little babies.
Yeah, they make all kinds of like
He would
designed
he would,
ones.
He would paint like customs. Like he made one look like a little airplane helmet, with the
Yeah.
goggles.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know that is a really dumb reason to X out a villain, but it is what it is.
All right, Sauron. so wait, not Sauron or Magneto?
Sauron, not Sauron. Sorry, not Sauron.
Sauron, not
That
Sauron.
could be your Lord of the Rings podcast.
Sorry, not
So are
sorry.
you getting rid of Are you getting rid of Magneto or are you getting rid of Sauron?
Getting rid of
Sauron.
Sauron.
Okay.
Sauron.
All right.
I'll go next. I am going to get rid of. Oh man, why did I say this? Why am I going next?
Yeah,
All
that
right.
is quite an ordeal.
I'm going to get rid of. Sorry, just because I'm looking at the movie rendition, I liked him in the books, but I'm getting rid of Voldemort.
What?
Yeah,
Fair.
he's good. I like him, and this
But
is
what? It's all right.
I mean, it's the definition of villain.
You guys,
Kind
you
of
guys
is.
are just you're crushing my soul here. You just really are crushing.
He's not a
my
bad
soul.
villain. He's a great villain.
Okay.
Yep.
All
But
right.
yeah, sorry.
It's Ray Fiennes, guys. He's
No, and he's great.
Stellar.
Although my favorite portrayal of him as a villain was him in Bruges.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He's good.
That's really funny because that's what I was thinking about doing in the required viewing.
Excellent.
And
That's a
his-
good one.
His brother is the villain in Handmaid's Tale.
Joseph Fiennes. Really? I didn't know that. And my favorite, though, is the third Fiennes brother, J.C. Chazet from NSYNC. He looks just like them, does he not?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. Voldemort and
Yeah,
Sauron are
That's
out
right.
of
They're out.
here.
Who's going next?
I'll go. I'm gonna pick aliens.
Yeah.
All right.
Xenomorphs because I don't feel that they're actually villains.
Yeah.
That's fair.
They're kind of just doing what they do,
Yeah.
and
That's
I
all
mean,
they know how to do.
If you want to get into lore, maybe there's they may have been manufactured,
Yeah,
maybe
genetically engineered
genetically
bioweapons.
engineered, but they weren't actually engineered to be evil.
Sure.
To be. So I want to say, I would get rid of them. Just they're very vicious.
They're definitely
opponents.
antagonists
Yes,
rather
very
than
different. Yeah.
And they're the scariest amongst these.
Easily. Because did you have any of you played Alien Isolation?
No.
Yes.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's good
That is
stuff.
fuck everybody else. The Xenomorph is the scariest villain of all, as far as that goes. But
Is
yeah,
it, do they play that as a horror game?
yes,
They do? Okay.
Yeah, as
It's a
survival,
survival
horror.
horror.
I'm
Because
into
it's
that.
like if it gets anywhere near you, it's game over.
Okay.
Like you,
Basically. Yeah, you can't
just
kill it.
Yeah, it hits you before you can react. Holds you down. You see its mouth open, and then it just goes to
Oh.
black
Yeah.
because
Okay.
your face got punched
It's
out by
scary
its
as
fucking
fuck.
tongue.
I've heard
Yeah.
good things about
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah,
it's
that game
That
is
sounds hot.
terrifying.
But a little bit.
Especially playing
Melissa.
like Ripley's daughter, who's going to die 1,000 times before you fucking beat it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
All
horror.
right.
Yeah. Anyway,
Who chose last time? Did you choose
I
last?
think no, I did not choose last.
Okay. Who chose last?
I don't know.
Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Anyways, one of you two go. Rochambeau it.
Oh God. So who's left? Magneto, Darth, and
The
Joker.
last
Joker?
corner.
okay.
Joker.
Don't do it.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Don't you? I don't
gotta
know who
do
you're
it.
You
choosing.
know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. You guys are gonna hate me. You're
No,
these are
especially
all
gonna hate
good.
me.
I don't know.
think you know
I don't
who
know
I
it
that.
is.
like all of them.
I'm gonna say Magneto
Ah,
because
Ooh,
you
that
knew
was
I
one I was
gonna
hoping.
because
I agree
he
with that.
was not originally a villain. He was a good guy. Then he turned into a villain, and not only that, but he still kind of like goes back and forth in his mind about
The same could be
what
said
he
about
is.
Darth.
That might be why he's the best villain. He has so much character.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's
because he's
the same could be said about Darth Vader.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
well, my
That's what I was
That's
gonna say.
interesting.
That's what I was gonna say.
one of the
That's very
best rules of drama I remember is that the best villains are the ones who think that they're the heroes.
right,
Sure.
right
Yeah,
there,
for
and
sure.
he's very human, which is a good thing.
Plus
but I
Ian
think,
McKellen.
Yeah,
Plus
it
Ian
is Ian
McKellen.
McKellen. I know.
You killed the queer villain.
No, I know, guys. I know, but
no.
I can't,
It's just
'cause the
white
other-
guys
the
after.
other
No.
two are, the other two are so good.
No,
So
no,
good.
that's
it's
fair.
it's
That's
I'm
fair.
Alien
Oh,
was
I know,
queer.
I
Don't
know.
worry.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, who are you
All right.
choosing as the last villain standing, Mr. Fernando?
For this one in scope, unfortunately, I got to get rid of the Joker.
Okay.
Darth Vader, best villain.
That's fair.
Like,
Okay.
because it's the my favorite kind of villain, who is the tragic fallen hero. You know, obviously the story of how he got there, like through the prequels, was kind of horseshit. But as far as it goes, it was like if you need to see anything, he was the very best 60 seconds of Rogue One. Uh-oh.
It was not horse shit. I don't care what you say.
You're the
I know
only
everybody
person
hates the
ever that-
prequels.
You're the only person that likes
You
it.
know, the episode 2 is maybe the worst of all the Star Wars movies. Episode 3 was really good. Watch how he becomes the best villain. Well,
It's cool.
You can't even contain.
I have to
No,
say,
the take is
episode
too
3
hot.
Episode 3 is pretty like
some of the
it's
final
it's my-
scenes
yeah.
leading
the
from
best
Christian.
one out of the prequels.
Yeah, watching Hader become this
Vader,
villain.
Vader.
Hater.
I was like, are you talking about me?
No, wait, wait, Slater.
Bill Hader.
No, wait, who's
Yeah.
the actor that plays him in the
Hayden
Hayden
Christensen.
I think it's
Hader.
Vader and Hayden. Watching Hader become the Hader.
Watching Hader become the Vader.
Become the Vader. Was good. I have the higher ground.
Yep.
You don't do this. Don't do this. Fucking chops off his arm. It's fucking awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
that's fair.
No, that's fair. Yeah. I
yeah,
get it.
but no, the fact remains still best villain.
He's a good
Like,
villain.
yeah, Darth Vader. Plus, if you play any of the what's it called, the real time
Battlefront?
strategy Star Wars games, Darth Vader is basically the equivalent of a world breaking nuke. You put Darth Vader upon a planet by himself, and he will conquer it. And it was like, oh shit! But again, best 60 seconds of Rogue One was Vader,
the
like
end.
cutting fools in half and
that's
just
true.
slamming them up and down and shit. And it was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Because again, like aside from like Sauron, you know, utterly faceless villain who just possesses like just vast frightening powers, and you can't tell how he feels. He speaks emotionlessly, you know, and it was just like, and again, used to be a good guy, could have been the greatest good guy,
Right. Yeah.
but instead became a villain of utter terror, like before whom, you know, it was that whole like that comic books, the comic book thing that they have for it, where it was like, give up Vader, you're surrounded. He was like, surrounded, all I'm surrounded by is dead man.
Damn.
It was just like,
so awesome.
oh shit. Yeah, because Vader, like,
Was that in the most recent run of the? It's called
of
Vader, right?
Empires.
Yeah.
Because it was like, and again, the fact that he has a redemption arc, which aside from Magneto, nobody else really gets.
Sure.
You know. And it
Yeah.
was just like, and again, best kind of villain. Hero became the worst kind of villain, became a hero, and it cost him his life.
Sure.
You know? It was just like, yeah, amazing arc for that character.
I just kind of want to like also just point out that like it's so hard to make a good protagonist or movie without a really good villain.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So,
this
is a-
motherfucker right here.
Well,
yeah.
all of these people.
Oh yeah.
are,
Oh yeah. Well, and it's like, because otherwise, I mean, honestly, it was like, yeah, there will always be a place of honor for the Joker and Magneto in my heart,
Oh, me
because the
too.
Joker, yes, fuck yeah,
Well, and-
amazing villain.
So dark.
Yeah.
With the humor.
Oh yeah, and
Shit.
another one who is utterly terrifying.
Anyone
You know.
that kid that's that far gone is automatic.
Oh, yeah.
And the many different ways that the Joker has been portrayed just shows, I don't know.
Who has no actual
how many different what?
multiple choice past.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and otherwise it's like him, Magneto. I mean, I would say, huh?
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's funny that Joker's like my favorite sort of villain.
Oh, yeah.
Me
The
too.
agent
I
of
would have.
chaos,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
No backstory.
The
no,
anarchist.
You know, yeah, just
Yeah.
complete.
It's like the
and it's-
epitome of a villain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we had to choose our the best villain for us, yours would have been
I
Joker.
don't know that would have been. I would have made. I because he's making a strong case, and
Sure.
I agree with a lot of what he says. But I do like I said, it's funny. It's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
to me.
Sure.
Well, and Joker like could theoretically exist in a world like this,
Right.
Which is one of the scary
And
parts about
actually
it too.
likely does.
Yeah, that's it.
In
Doesn't
many
look too
ways.
unlike Trump. Who?
Yeah.
So would yours have been Vader?
as far as it goes, I'm not certain. Simply because like Vader was not the most powerful villain.
Sure.
You know, he was not
Right.
this like because it was like I would say just for raw visceral terror, you can't beat the Xenomorph.
Sure.
You know, in
Yeah.
terms of raw power, both Voldemort and Sauron,
Sauron,
you know,
yeah.
were threats to their entire world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and until they
Universes,
figured
yeah.
that shit out, you could not kill Voldemort. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
and then again, Sauron like was one of those people that wreaked havoc across the world by his very existence. Magneto, awesome. You know, one of those like where you can kind of see, and that's one of the scarier ones is the villain who has a point. You know,
Yeah.
especially the villain who was like a fucking Auschwitz survivor.
Yeah,
you know?
that's really what gets it
Yeah.
for me is that
Who
his
saw-
background story was so strong, and they
Yeah.
didn't.
And then-
it wasn't
yeah.
just a, you know, like we don't know where some of these other villains
Right.
came from,
No.
or nor do we necessarily
they were
need
always
it or
bad.
care.
Yeah.
right. But just knowing his background, I would have chosen Magneto. Who would yours have been?
Probably Joker.
Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
That
good
specific
villains.
villain.
portrayal,
Toss-up.
or
No, not that specific. Just him. Just the character as a villain. I mean, yeah.
you're dark. You do some dark humor. I've seen your stand up.
What? Suicide jokes? are Not dark. They are as bright can be.
I think if we were choosing based on like book
Uh-huh.
versus movie,
Yeah.
I would have chosen Voldemort.
Yeah,
just
me
because
too.
That's
Yeah.
Voldemort is he's like so evil that he killed, you know, Harry Potter's parents right in front of him, and
Yep.
like
He goes
left
out of
this
his
infant
way
by himself. Yeah,
Be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
no, they're
the
all,
assault.
these are all.
Well,
this was a
wasn't he-
great selection
Well,
of villains.
He's like the least I'm familiar with, but didn't he actually try to kill Harry Potter like as a baby? Isn't that the whole?
Yeah, that's why he has
that's
the.
how he gets
So,
the
like,
scar, and
his
he's
intentions was
he's
murder.
trying to
murder
kill
a
a
Yeah,
baby.
murder this
like how
baby.
how
That's
much more
For
evil do you
eternally.
get? Like
Well,
I'm just gonna murder this baby.
Knew he was the
Honestly,
chosen one.
He was probably the only. Well, I was gonna say. I
Although
think
he's
he
the
was the only
most
baby
selfish
killer.
of villains
Okay.
because he and like narrow scoped in the sense that like all of his attention was on Harry Potter.
Right.
It doesn't seem like he really cared about making the world an evil place.
True.
Right.
It was making Harry Potter's world an evil
True.
place.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
I don't know.
but yeah, that would just be based off the books.
Yeah.
But based off the actual like acting and the characters in the movies, I would have definitely chosen Vader. Like,
Oh,
no,
I thought you were gonna say Joker.
Yeah,
Honestly.
no, Vader,
contest.
Vader is.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
that would have been
love,
the toss-up.
I love
Yeah.
the Joker.
I like
I
those.
do, but no, nobody can touch.
Really? Heath Ledger over like original Vader? I don't know. It's just like it was so. It's not that he was bad. He was just like a robot almost in the original film.
But that's part
true.
of his like.
The unknowable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because again, to be fair,
Find the girl.
one of them
Okay.
has no face. The other one has the most expression-full face, and you
Correct.
can't tell what either of them are thinking.
Yeah, he's got the Glasgow smile, right?
Yeah.
Is that what that's
Yeah.
called. Yeah.
Yeah, the Glasgow grin.
Slammed
Yeah.
a
Glasgow
face
Grand.
into a pencil.
Yep.
Oh God, that's one of the best scenes.
I
ever.
laughed, and it was not.
Make
Not
it
a funny
disappear.
moment.
It was
Yeah.
definitely the only laughter
Honestly,
happening in that
I-
theater at the moment.
I think if I had to pick straight up from that, I might have picked Sauron because all of these other characters, except for the Xenomorph, were all at least human. You know,
Sure,
The
yeah.
Sauron is the echo of a dark god that never possessed the capacity to care. You know,
Right.
It was just like, it was just like this. Plus, it was like not
tell
many
in
things
his
are
face.
scary as that big fucking eye staring at
God
you
damn,
from
it's so
across
scary.
the world. You know,
know.
True.
Especially like because in scope, he was definitely the most powerful, or it was the most powerful villain.
Yeah.
You know.
And all the things that come out of Sauron, like
Yeah.
the orcs
And yes, because
and
it
the ring
corrupted.
wraiths, and
it-
those guys are freaking horrifying.
Yeah, it turned
Like,
the living
so
into like
scary.
undead.
Yeah.
You know, it like corrupted like living peaceful creatures into monsters of war and all this other shit. And again, you know, a world shook under its footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
Like definitely like a greater scope villain
Sure.
than
yeah,
than
yeah.
a lot of them.
Yeah, this
But
is a hard one for
Producers,
sure.
who would you have chosen? Sauron. We're getting Sauron for
Sauron.
both of you. Oh, geez. All right, that was an easy
Yeah, I
one.
saw the look
He's-
you gave
he's
me.
Scary as shit.
Yeah.
He is horrifying.
And you
Yeah.
couldn't talk to it, you know? You couldn't
can't,
talk
yeah.
to Sauron.
You can't reason with him.
was to get the ring back to its home.
All you need is a slingshot into an eyeball. I've seen it before. I've seen it before. Anyways, let's move on to our next segment.
Sand.
Sand. Let's move into our trailer segment. So we're gonna watch a handful more trailers. And the game here is watch, rent, or skip. If it is unrentable or if it's like on Netflix or something, the rent would be the equivalent of putting it in your queue and letting it sit for
or would
a
you
while.
watch it right now?
Yeah, pop it in.
So we have a handful of trailers that we are going to give a watch to. I think maybe 3.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That is not one that we're going to watch right now. We're going to watch that as a separate video.
Oh, okay, cool.
That works.
Cool.
But what he's having lined up for us right now is Beautiful Boy. Yes,
Never heard of it.
gosh, I forgot who was in it, but you'll see in a second. So let's give it a watch.
Okay. I thought you were going to put your 3D glasses on. For a second, I was like, are you hot taking it already?
Oh, okay.
Hey, another Steve Carell.
Doing great, you know, just
Chalamet.
just doing what needs to be done. And what does that mean? I'm sorry, Dad.
Call me by your name.
Call me by your name.
Talk. We can do that, right? Please. You think that you have this under control. I understand why I do things. It doesn't make me any different. You're just embarrassed because I was like, you know, I was like this amazing thing, like your special creation or something, and you don't like who I am now. Yeah? Who are you, Nick? This is me, Dad. Here, this is who I am. This is not you. This is not you, Nick. What are you doing, huh? You always gotta be controlling everything all the time. Let me book your room at a hotel for a couple of nights. Dad. I don't want it to go like this. My son has gone missing. Nicholas Sheff, S-H-E-F-F.
There's no one by that name, sir.
There are moments that I look at him, this kid that I raised, who I thought I knew inside and out, and I wonder who he is. I thought we were close. I thought we were closer than most fathers and sons. Why?
I felt better than I ever had, so I just kept on doing it.
This isn't us. This is not who we are. My son is out there somewhere, and I don't know what he's doing. I don't know how to help him. You can't.
I don't feel like I have a disease. This isn't like cancer. This is my choice. I put myself here.
I failed. I can't do it alone.
I need to find a way to fill this black hole in me. I still have a family. I want them to be proud of me.
What you have, you're gonna find it again. You're gonna get it back. Do you know how much I love you? I love you more than everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Everything.
Fuck.
God damn it.
Yeah, that is some heavy shit.
Yeah, so this is
Stupid trailer making me cry.
based off of a book. I think it said a memoir.
Nick and David.
Okay.
Chef.
Chef.
Yeah.
Okay, I forget her name, but she played opposite Steve Carell in The Office. It's maybe one of the best.
Amy Ryan.
Amy
She's
Ryan, maybe
great.
one of the best relationships on television I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, that was heavy
Trailers
shit.
rarely make me
Yeah.
cry, but that really got to me.
I couldn't hold it anymore.
That was a great trailer.
Yeah.
And Timothy Chalamet, that kid is so good.
Yeah, he's blowing
God.
up.
If you haven't seen Call Me by Your Name,
Was he also in Hot Summer Nights?
I don't know.
Maybe.
The-
He was
the-
also in Lady Bird.
Lady
Yeah,
Bird
I was
also.
gonna say he's been in a couple of things lately.
He's gonna be
He's
so
blowing
big.
up, and he is so good.
Yeah, well, the star power alone in the movie is really Steve Carell. That's another one we kept. You know, there's a comedy guy shooting for.
He's at the
shooting for
age now where he's playing these parts.
I think
Yeah.
so. Well, I think
like
maybe
Malcolm to Marwin as well.
Yeah.
Which one?
The one that we saw last.
Oh, right.
He's
Yes.
like a-
Yes.
he's
Yes.
like a- yeah, like an artist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah,
he's
he makes
the-
miniatures.
Oh yeah.
Which he did in another movie too. I
Brain
think
damage.
called
It was Dinner for Schmucks. He did. He's a taxidermist.
Taxidermist.
yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, he did Little Mice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the name of that movie?
Dinner for Schmucks.
Dinner for
That was a good movie. I thought that was funny.
Yes.
That was a American remake. I think it was a French movie.
his
Yeah, it
first
was.
film where he played a serious part.
Really good. At that.
He's really good at dramatic
He's
shit.
very good.
It's
Yeah.
although he's like like that face that he makes is almost funny just because he has such a face for comedy.
Well, did you hear me laugh?
yeah.
I didn't mean to laugh during the trailer, and I think Jess maybe thought I was laughing at her. But no, when whenever he yells, I can't think of him as not Michael. He's like, la, 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 la.
Right.
Well, it's like him saying that like he didn't know how to help his son, like the despair, a father's fucking despair in his voice for that, like where it's like the you know your child is about to, because as somebody who's had to struggle through the lives of other people who've had drug addiction, you know, and everything else in their lives, and help them get on the road to recovery and everything like that, and being scared that you're never going to see him again anytime, you know, because it was just like, well, without getting into too much personal shit, and you've seen over the course of years like what that shit has been like. It's something that strikes you to the fucking core.
Yeah,
you know,
you. There's been days where I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna see my friend again.
Yeah,
you know? Like, he might be gone. Yeah.
Yep,
yeah.
that's it.
And that they hit it really well in this trailer.
Yeah,
I think.
it's one of those I think my parents would really like to see.
I think
you know,
unfortunately, it's very timely.
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people dealing with both sides of that right now.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Sure. But I think they're gonna do. I have a very high hopes for this one.
Holy shit! Yeah. No, that is like from me, hard watch. You know.
Oh yeah,
because
I'm gonna be bawling my eyes out. I already know it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because. Whew,
yeah, what
that's
the
heavy
hell?
fucking material.
When a trailer can get you,
but it strikes a hopeful note.
Geez.
You know,
Right.
that's a thing, especially because it was the two of them writing their memoirs. So you don't know if it was maybe both of them only wrote it halfway through and only one of them finished or something.
I don't know.
You know, but I want to see, because it's like one way or the other, it is the most human of stories.
Sure. Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Everybody kind of deals with it in some.
Oh yeah,
some
human
way, shape,
pain
or
and
form.
suffering and rising above it, or being able to recover from it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Watch from you, watch from me, watch from Jess, watch.
for sure.
Watch the
I'll
trailer.
watch it later. I
Is it
apparently
coming
can't make it through an episode.
Is it coming to
Little
Amazon
bladder.
Prime?
Small.
I don't know.
I think they're producing it. I think it is actually going
A
to be
theater.
a theatrical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling with Chalamet and Corral, it'll probably.
I think
it's
so.
gonna be Oscar bait.
Oh,
Chalamet,
that's what I'm saying.
Anything
That's what I was
Chalamet's
like,
in is like Oscar
Well, I mean,
bait now.
they're not,
depending on time of release too, because
it
you
doesn't
know, a
have
lot of
anything
the
to do with the platforms right now.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm also thinking like all the Oscar bait movies come out towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know when this one's being released.
I hope it gets nominated. I hope it does well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
how
we'll
the
see.
movie is.
We'll see.
Let's watch the next trailer, The Hate You Give.
Uh-oh.
Sounds like another sad one.
Oh no, dear God.
Made by the whitest kids you know.
Nope, you're wrong.
Man, you coming at me for my music, but you listen to this old stuff.
Old stuff? What? Better get up out of here with all that. Pockets the truth.
Well, I got a boyfriend.
Yeah, I heard, but it's all good.
Really?
We've been together our whole lives, Star. We got time.
My name is Star. 2 R's. Daddy named me that. Garden Heights. Mama and Daddy says our life is here because our people are here. We got Mr. Rubin's barbecue, Mr. Lewis's barbershop, and Daddy's store. The high school is where you go to get jumped, high, or pregnant. We don't go there. Williamson is another world, so when I'm here, I'm Star version 2.
Yo, those kicks are lit.
Basically, Williamson Star doesn't give anyone a reason to call her ghetto, and I hate myself for doing it. Until the weekend comes around.
I get those goosebumps every time.
What's up? Where you been at? I don't know. You be hanging with all the white kids.
When you're not around, when you go that to the side.
Out of the car.
Yo, Star, you okay?
Go back where he told you. Khalil, I'm not playing. Go back where... What did you do?
Today, Garden Heights is reeling after the shooting of a 17-year-old black teenager by a white police officer.
We live in a complicated world.
Was that fucking Chris Evans? Or Channing Tatum?
Brutality. It's the same story, just a different name.
When I attack with impact, it's real tactful. The black cat waited and sat, debated to
It's best if she don't talk to 5
with a passion while seeking.
Just threatening her.
The only true power is the power within the people.
It's about more than just Khalil. It's about black people, poor people, everybody at the bottom. I need to speak for him.
You would think we could never achieve the inconceivable. We don't belong, but we hear unbelievable.
When you ready to talk, you talk. Don't ever let nobody make you be quiet. I ain't named you Star by accident.
Huh.
Wow.
Wow.
Speaking of heavy fucking material.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Well, it was only a matter of time. I'm glad that it's being done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
it's
timely,
timely.
very
Yeah.
timely
Yep.
subject matter.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this one's also based off of a book. So I'm starting to see like a lot of novels being turned into film.
Yeah.
This happened last week too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is gonna hit home very hard for a lot of people.
Definitely.
No kidding. Holy shit.
This is going to also be a lot of angry people
Oh
after
my
this
God.
movie came
Yeah, you
out.
think so?
Yeah. Well, anything that's going to make a powerful statement is
Yeah,
going to make
it's going to be
people angry.
divisive.
I always wonder how these do in certain like regions
Yeah.
in the
the
US.
South.
Yeah, yeah. I like
Yeah.
wonder how this would do in like Kentucky or
Yeah.
Actually, it'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Because there's a
because-
large black
Yeah.
population in Kentucky, like in the South in general.
I get a real.
and so-
Did you ever see Fruitvale Station?
Yeah,
Get a
Michael
Fruitvale
B.
Station.
Jordan.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. I don't think it's his first movie, but it's like maybe one of his first like
I thought
starring
it
roles.
was, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
he-
I don't think it's I don't think it's introducing him. I think
Okay.
he's been, but I think it's his first like real starring.
It was the same
role.
director.
Same Coogler.
Yeah, Ryan Coogler. Yeah. That was. I think that might have been like their starting point
That's
together.
where they met. Yeah,
Yeah.
They kind of they both came up from that one.
Yeah, and then they've been moving
Yeah,
forward
they've been
together
doing their
since.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Very cool. I would love to watch that if that's
Mm-hmm.
similar in feel to this. Because that's
Yeah.
this looks
Did
good.
it say when it comes out? Oh,
October.
August 7th. Oh, that's
Yeah, that's a different one. It was October.
October.
Yeah.
October. Wow, that's far. Okay. Well,
For sure.
I'm in for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, yeah. Is this a theater watch? Is what I wonder.
It's more of a rent for
Yeah.
me, just
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I
these issues hit me really, really hard in like in a way that I can't sob like that in a theater. It's embarrassing, so I'm not gonna do it.
I would want to see it in the theater because I want to feel what everybody. I want to see what
That's
the
a good
group
point. Yeah.
experiences
That's good.
together.
Yeah, I
That's
bet it's more
true.
visceral.
That's
like
true.
you're more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But I also don't I cry at like very inappropriate times, so so I'm not worried.
I heard you in the bathroom earlier.
Damn it!
Different kind of crying.
I thought the cotton balls
We ran out of
muffled the
toilet
noise.
paper, sorry.
You were eating the cotton ball.
I was just smothering them in my
Got it,
face.
got it,
you know?
got it. I actually in horror films I put my hands and wrists face up.
Yep.
To feel more vulnerable, so I get like a bigger
Interesting.
scare. And isn't that really weird? Yeah,
Weirdo.
yeah, kind of. Yeah. I also get naked. Yeah.
Then you're really
I have the
vulnerable.
most closed
Put a
body
collar around
language
my
watching
neck.
horror movies. I'm
Yeah.
like this,
You know-
and I'm like
I
curled
just
up in like the fetal position.
I'll be
Like,
honest.
yeah.
Sometimes I will keep a weapon with me when I watch horror movies. Not in theaters. Like sometimes
At
I'm like
home.
Packing.
At home.
Yeah.
Like
'Cause I'm-
just
and the funny
just
thing
a
is I've
kitchen
never
knife
been a
right
violent
here.
like it was just like I ended up giving away my favorite little that you can hide in your shirt. Kind of like what's called a neck knife. You have it on a necklace
yeah.
around
I've seen
your,
that.
yeah,
Yes.
and you can just
I have a
sit,
couple.
yeah, and it
I
was
sat next to a guy in a theater with one of those, and I was
I've never
terrified
felt
the whole
more
time.
scared.
I kept it under my shirt, not like I could stab anybody, you know. It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Don't invite me over for scary movie night.
no, I gave it away like
Okay.
back in March. I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, so we digress. Big
Yeah,
time,
I'm gonna
but-
say rent for me.
but I think
Yeah.
it's worth watching.
Yeah.
probably.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah. Oh, definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
I think I would give it a while, just because that's going to be a difficult watch.
Oh
Sure.
yeah,
You know.
real hard. Yep.
All right, Mile 22 official trailer number 2.
Failure is not an option. If we get him out, we save millions of lives.
Look who it is.
Wow, that was a bit of a pre-trailer trailer.
Yeah.
A lot of action.
Mother child one, we got motorcycles on our ass. I need a new.
Can't believe these motorcycles all over us.
Motorcycles.
Can't believe he's kicking all them doctors.
It restarted, so
Restarted.
yeah.
Is that
That's
Walking Dead?
Yeah,
What's her
that's
name?
Lauren. Lauren Grant. Is
I
it
like
Lauren
her.
Grant?
I can't believe we have to watch this twice.
Motorcycles.
We got motorcycles on our ass. I need a new vehicle ASAP.
We got motorcycles.
You guys got that
On her
Boston
ass.
accent.
This is an Overwatch operation.
Nice.
John Malkovich.
Our team is engaged in
Looked
a
like he
higher
couldn't
form
believe that
of
was a gun.
patriotism.
Can't believe I'm shooting these guys.
It's not a military operation.
The goal is to complete the mission at any cost.
I'm bored.
Oh.
That's what this job is. I'm not you. You're pretty close. Besides, this is my beach. Feel the sand between my toes. Sir, you have a
Yeah, that looks good.
That's my asset. Local special forces.
Oh, this is
Send him to
Great.
medical to see if he's who he says he is.
And Ronda Rousey.
What?
What's your name? Lee Nur. Are you involved in acts of espionage?
Yes. I have information that proves my government is planning an attack on the United States. You have no idea how evil my government is.
That's weird. It's like Malaysia is going to take a shot at us.
Right.
Yeah.
He's Thai boxing.
Yeah, he is. He's a
It's
bad
not,
motherfucker.
it's not Tony
He's a
Jaa,
bad
right?
motherfucker. No,
But the way he's boxing.
Yeah. Well, the raid, it was like Pencak Silat or something.
They're going up against this country's elite tactical squads.
I need him back right now. No one ever enters a war thinking they will lose. But one side is always wrong. I'm gonna give you some advice. You ready? Stop.
We're on the move. They missed that plane, we have failed. They missed that plane, they are dead.
Oh.
Child one, expect company.
Yeah, that dude is too much to handle.
Yeah, he is.
I can do that.
Oh, Aiko Uwai.
Yeah.
If we get him out, we save millions of lives. Requesting hand of God.
Coming down.
Wow.
There's a trailer for The Division. Sort of look
Yeah,
like.
basically.
Well, what was the thematic little sound?
I don't know. Yeah, I think that was just the song. Probably not a fun song.
A little bit. Yeah.
They did a really good job showcasing the action.
Yeah.
That's probably.
There is a shot fired in every clip. In
Every
Somebody's
section
dying.
of the trailer, there's some sort of.
There was a lot of violence.
It
Yep,
looked
violence
like
happening.
good action, though. Honestly,
Yeah.
it reminded me of like
That guy's
if
badass.
Bad Boys wasn't
Did you ever
funny.
see the raid?
Yeah, the choreography looks good, but that's the only thing that I liked
Yeah.
about the
No,
trailer.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
I'm-
It looks like it's
Standard-
just going to be ass kicking,
standard
like
action
over and over,
movie.
and that's not for everyone.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm good with it. I'll watch it. I mean, I won't watch it in theaters probably. I'll probably like give it a rent, but it seems fun. Like,
It's
fun
interesting,
enough.
like the different like subgenres of action. Like this isn't like Mission Impossible. There's not like Mission Impossible has a lot of low time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like John Wick either because it doesn't feel like a one man operation.
No. Yeah.
And it doesn't feel
It
like it
feels
just
a little bit Sicario like in some ways.
Yeah,
just because
small
it
unit tactics.
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Sure,
yeah. Yeah. Whereas rather than an elite team of
like a Rainbow Six
espionage agents, even though it distinctly says espionage in it, but it's
Right.
because it's part of a larger like terrorist incursion. It's still weird that it's fucking Malaysians.
Right.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
It's
But
like
it does. It feels like one of those movies that comes out every 3 to 5 years.
for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
There's always some
more than that.
terrorism movie
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
3 to 5 months.
Three to
Sorry.
5 months.
Yeah,
There you go.
months is more like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, dude is kicking the shit out of people, and he was like, no, my government is like completely evil. So it was
Yeah.
like, let's erase any shades of gray here.
Right.
It's all a bunch
Yeah.
of shitty, horrible people, and yeah, they want to fuck up America.
It's a
like,
straight
wait,
to
huh?
red box.
Yeah.
I think a straight to red box.
Yeah.
I want to see a movie where the Americans are the terrorists because we're usually
That
the
would be
terrorists
very-
and we're never
Yeah.
depicted as such. So
It
You know
would-
what did a really good job of that recently was the Black Mirror episode in the most recent season where
I'm not. I need to
They
catch
they
up.
do it in
I'm-
other international films because I've seen they've done
love
like
Black
some of the
Mirror.
Canadian stuff. I remember they even had westerns where it was even detachments from like the Union Army who were like the villains, and it was like the Canadians having to fend them off and shit. And then I remember they made some movie that had like major American actors like Billy Zane. It was like Valley of the Wolves.
I don't remember
because it was
this.
told from like the
I don't
Muslim
know.
perspective, you know, and he was playing like an American general, and they were fucking things up, and like, you know, it was like family, and like they get like again a wedding gets bombed, you know, and the guy's sister has nothing left, and she's like, I'm gonna become a suicide bomber, and he's like, what the fuck, no, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't remember that.
It was I forget what
Was
the
it good?
name of it was. I never saw it,
Okay.
but I
No.
knew of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's
And it
a-
was like I'd seen the trailer and
look it
stuff.
up.
It was something that really made people angry because, especially because the whole war on terror, but it was told from the perspective of the other side.
Yeah.
you know,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what we need. Personally, that's what I think. But
Yeah.
anyway.
So it's an astounding watch in theaters for Mile 22 is what it sounds like.
No.
Yeah, honestly, I'll probably rent that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be a rent for me.
some drinks.
Well,
Pop-
definitely
I would
popcorn movie.
only see it in the theater if I had already watched every other movie and
That was nothing.
every single other movie.
pass
What do I
won't
do with
let
my
me.
movie pass?
What
Yeah.
do I do with it?
There's nothing else to
It
watch.
would, yeah, it would be one of those like turn my brain off.
Yeah.
and rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
I'll
Anyways,
take a Tinder date to that movie.
I'm going to back up here and say for the required viewing, which I have been chosen. I'm the chosen one for this one. I have a big list because anytime it comes back around to me, I'm like, oh, God, what am I going to do? So I kind of made a list, and I've narrowed it down to 2 for right now, and I'll let you guys kind of help me make that decision. So I'm thinking between Children of Men and The Fourth Kind.
Ooh, Children of Men is
Wow.
so good.
I really liked Children of Men.
So yeah, who's seen Children of Men?
I have.
I have.
Everyone's seen it.
Okay, so who's seen The Fourth Kind?
I have
have.
not.
Okay,
Okay,
so
probably Fourth Kind
you're the
then.
only one that
Yeah.
has seen it.
I've seen
Let's
both,
do The
yeah.
Fourth
I've seen
Kind.
it. I've seen it.
Oh, you have seen
It
The Fourth
scared
Kind.
the bejesus out of me. I mean, I'll watch
Yeah.
it again. That's fine.
Okay.
It'll scare the bejesus out of me again.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's one of the better
That's
ones.
okay.
It's one of my favorite, alien films. Maybe even be my favorite, honestly.
It changed my mind about Mila Jovovich.
There's
I
not-
used to hate her.
There's not. I mean, there's not a lot
I'm a
of
fan.
serious like how this how Fourth Kind is serious about.
There-
Yeah, it's
there's
very-
no reasoning behind my hatred of her. Let me just say that I have hated her for the longest time for no reason.
Wow.
Other than I just can't stand her face or
Okay.
something. I don't know. Something about her just made me angry.
But you've come around to her more recently, like you.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Fine.
She watched.
You exist.
Jessica watched all the
Okay.
Resident Evils
Like-
and was like, I'm in.
Right.
Like ho bitch is not a bitch.
All right, The Fourth Kind is the required viewing, so
Sounds
we
good.
will talk about this on Thursday, and by that I mean this video will be dropping Monday, but we're switching things over to potentially be being dropped regularly on Fridays, and so that has been another episode of Screen Source, again, your place for film and
Yay.
television news reviews and trailers. Make sure to tune into our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Color Circuit. That's what you're on right now. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, favorite, all the rest of that stuff. Follow on our twitch.tv/Color Circuit Live page where you can see people like Fernando do some voice acting things.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see some more video games and role-playing games and comedy, all that other stuff.
Bringing it all to you.
And let's see. Yeah, tune in tomorrow for Tales from the Undertaker, a serialized role-playing game based on the Pathfinder system. So let's bring up that last slide. Make sure to go to our other YouTube video. We're going to be watching Disenchantment, the new Matt Groening original series.
Yes.
And we'll find out a little bit more about it if you
Right.
just tune in, and I'll tell you everything you want to know. Probably, maybe, we'll see.
Right.
You'll just have to find out.
Yes. Did I hit everything? Did I hit all that?
You hit all the notes.
Facebook.com/Color Circuit Live,
You hit all
Instagram
the
at color.circuit.live, Twitter at CLR Circuit Live. Thank you, producers. We really appreciate it.
Good
Well
job,
done,
guys.
gentlemen.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was right. But you know, I like those when we have the extended discussions about stuff.